Texas A&M's been red hot. Gavin Grohovac, Cade Sorrell, these two guys are dynamite.
Rearing back and delivering.
Texas is one of the best offenses in college baseball. Dylan Fuentes, he's outstanding.
Superstar Justin LeBron, gone.
Breeze,
go! I am the machine, I must be fair.
Nothing like it, the best college baseball tournament in America.
It's gone! He caught it!
What a play!
Heroics again!
You got the best of the best here in Hoover, Alabama. Let's get it on.
Hoover, Alabama is the site. The SEC baseball tournament on the SEC network is presented by Regions Bank, the official bank of the SEC. We've got a little bit of everything for you this week as we kick off what will be 15 games in 6 days with a champion crowned on ABC on Sunday afternoon. 16th seed in Missouri, 6-24 in the league, taking on postseason hopeful and a team that wants to host Ole Miss to get us started. Here are the headlines for this year in Hoover, and man, do we have plenty of them. Georgia, regular season champs for the first time since 2008. Also the last time they made it to Omaha. Blue Bloods have their season on the line. LSU and Vandy with everything to play for over the course of this week. And we got heat on the ballpark. Kylie McDaniel says 9 of the top 25 prospects will be on the field throughout this week here in Hoover. Also, the ABS Challenge makes its college debut right here in Hoover at the SEC tournament. So here's the bracket. Perhaps the team with the most to play for is Kentucky. They get 12 seed Vanderbilt in our second game of the day. But we start with Ole Miss and Missouri. And what a pleasure to be with you this morning. Welcome, everybody. Tom Hart alongside Todd Walker. This is always a great week of baseball.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to most this week?
Well, 7 of the last 8 national champions have come out of the SEC. We know how strong this conference is. 16 teams stacked in this tournament for the second year in a row. Georgia looking for their first tournament win in 30 appearances here, so it ought to be an exciting week.
Yeah, and Ole Miss with plenty to play for. Mike Bianco knows that they're on the outside looking in terms of a host opportunity. Number 15 RPI. They're just a couple of spots away from hosting right now. This is the resume and what's in front of Ole Miss.
I think they got to get through Mississippi State tomorrow. Mississippi State ahead of them in the standings. So if they win today and they beat Mississippi State tomorrow, that gives them 2 wins, 17 in the conference. I think they host in Oxford next week.
Well, they have one of the top sluggers in the game. Judd Utemark tied for 3rd in the SEC with 20 home runs.
Dude can really swing it. 49 career home runs. That's an Ole Miss record. 20 home runs this year, holding down the third base spot. He can move too. He's got 10 stolen bases. Judd Utemark is the guy to watch today.
Well, Missouri comes in struggling. They've lost 16 of 19, but Blaze Ward has proven to be one of the top performing freshmen in the league.
Carrick Jackson calls him a professional hitter. That's a lot from a guy that played high school baseball last year. Blaze Ward can really swing it. Second base, 303, is 9th in the SEC. He is a presence in the box.
Here's a look at the batting order for Missouri. 14th in the league in average, 16th in home runs. Wojda leads them in both, 12 home runs and 50 driven in over the course of this season. And they will face Ole Miss's left-handed starter, Will Libbert, who was the Sunday starter for a good chunk of the season, moved to the midweek late in the year. Sophomore from St. Thomas, Missouri, was wearing a Mizzou uniform last year. He's 2-2 with a 6.98.
So it makes sense he pitched today against Missouri. His longest outing in SEC play is 4 innings, so they're hoping to get some length. Can he last? Because if Ole Miss is going to make a run, they're going to need a lot of pitching. It's his 8th start of the year. Fastball get up to 97. He's got an equal use of a slider to lefties and righties. He'll throw more changeups to right-handed hitters.
Ole Miss did play a late midweek game against Tennessee Martin. He got the start in that one with 3 innings, allowed 3 hits and 1 run, which was unearned. So Missouri comes in having doubled its SEC win total from last year. Carrick Jackson in 3rd season as the head man in Como, former Mizzou assistant. And the Tigers, as Dari mentioned and as Carrick mentioned, going to try to leave it all on the line. They haven't won a conference tournament since their final year in the Big 12 in 2012, and they'll need to win it all to continue their season and grab that automatic berth to the NCAA tournament. That's also the last year Missouri made the postseason. So Jace Wojda set to lead things off. 15 games over 6 days in this second year of the single elimination format. Outfield straight away, slight breeze out to left. Temperatures in the mid-70s to get us started, and a 97-mile-an-hour fastball misses low to Jace Woida. We are underway in Hoover. You like early starts as a player?
No.
Do you like them as a broadcaster?
Yeah, a little about the same. I'm having a hard time waking up at 9:30. I told you the story. We faced Randy Johnson in the Metro at 9 o'clock in the morning one time because they had a football game later that night. So that's how I know these are tough.
Well, at least you didn't bat from the left side.
Yeah.
Here's the 1-1 to Woida, hitting 290 with a dozen home runs, and that is a strike. ABS system is in play. We'll explain that to you here in a moment. And teams are going to apply the rules to that a little bit differently in terms of how they want to execute it. Well, Udemark off the line over at third, and the pitch to Woida is grounded to the right side. This is Dom Decker, and there's one down. So here are the particulars for ABS. You've seen it at the big leagues. It's been around in the minors for a while, and now the first time used in a college game. You get 3 challenges to start the game. You get 1 for every extra inning. 3 challenges, that's 1 more than big league teams get. It can only be the batter, pitcher, catcher to challenge. It has to be immediate. You're right, you get to keep it.
And speaking of the big leagues, they tried that in spring training last year. 180 something games, 52% were overturned. So I knew every time I got called on strike 3 I was right.
You were right every time.
Every time, 52%.
Here's Cam Durnan. He's from Lynn Creek, Missouri, down in the Ozarks. Getting 100 points lower against lefties than he is righties on the season, and he swings through that one. Another 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Durnan spent a couple of years at Wichita State, and 2 years ago played great in the postseason, was on the American Conference tournament team. Just off the plate. This is real juice to roll in an extra starter who's sitting 97.
Yeah, how about that? And I love that he's using the fastball. We see too many times they're starting to dance early in the first inning. A lot of times pitchers want to get by the first time through the lineup with their fastball. They don't show you the off speed, so the second time through it makes it a little less difficult.
Now 2-2 to Durnan. Missouri has hit the fewest home runs in the SEC and scored a conference low 24% of their runs via the long ball. They'll need to play small ball to find some offense. This will be an early challenge from Austin Fawley.
And he's going to get that one right.
And our first challenge, home plate umpire is Jason Bradley. Give you a look. And it's a ball.
That's what you love about it. It looked good on film, but Jason Bradley got it right. Missouri so fired up.
Missouri will take momentum any way they can get it.
That's right.
Put a new ball into play. Kevin Sweeney really hated that baseball. Hollered at Libbert, throw it out of play. I talked to Mike Bianco about how his team was going to use the challenges, and they were going to have a team meeting last night. There are some coaches that say that they only want their players to challenge when it impacts the at-bat directly. So last pitch of the at-bat, you know, called strike 3, called ball 4, and of course to get your accurate measurement for your own personal strike zone, you got to go through the particulars. So no more fudging on the roster. All those dudes who are 6'3" are now 5'11".
Yeah, they get down to the millimeter specifics on measurements and strike zone accuracy, and gotta love it.
So the strike zone is 58% of the batter's height at the top of it. Oh no, pickoff, and Durnan is retired. Didn't even make it back to the bag. He just stuck in the clay.
Pretty good move. I don't think Durnan was going anywhere. Libbert just quick move over, and you're right. I think he slipped and just wasn't able to get back. And that's, you know, again, something that they weren't allowed to get on the field before, except in the grass in the outfield before the game. So you don't know how the dirt's going to play.
So Durnan spins his wheels, and Ward is at the plate. And he sends a pop up to the left side. Udemark shades on behind the coach's box. And that'll close the opening frame for Missouri. A base runner, but nothing doing. We'll see Josh McDevitt on the mound for the Tigers when we return. Breakfast at the ballpark today. Mike Bianco, the head coach for the Ole Miss Rebels, knows what's on the line for his team. He's the record holder in wins in Ole Miss history and a national champion. Here's a look at the lineup that he's put together. 13th in the league, Todd, in batting average at .266, but 6th in the league in home runs with 97. And they got Furness, who has 5 3-hit games.
Yeah, Will Furness coming over from Baton Rouge, or Nacogdoches. Dad, Eddie Furness, Hall of Famer from LSU. I know you love that. This is a strong lineup in the middle.
Not even 10 a.m. and you got an LSU drop in.
Hayden Federico playing center field, high school quarterback.
Josh McDevitt gets the ball for Mizzou, 6'2" right-hander out of Effingham, Illinois. 3-5 with an ERA just north of 4. He makes his 15th start today.
Third year at Missouri. He's an endurance guy. Pitched in the 7th inning 4 of his last 6 SEC starts. Got a swing and miss fastball, 30% whiff. The major league average is 24, so he can get a lot of strikeouts on the fastball. Got the true 12-6 curve with the change. Uses all 3 equally to righties and lefties.
This is a lefty-heavy lineup for Ole Miss. They'll roll out 7 lefties against the right-hander McDevitt, and that is obviously by design. First pitch fastball misses away. Lefties having much more success than right-handers against McDevitt over the course of the season. So here's Decker out of Sellersburg, Indiana, transferred from Murray State, where he played in the College World Series last year. And he's ahead in the count 2-0. I talked with Dom yesterday about his journey, and he talked specifically about 2 instances that got him prepared for SEC play. Number 1, the regional win when Murray State went through Oxford last year, and obviously he had great success and a great postseason. And then playing in Omaha, fly ball into the left field corner. Jamal George chasing deep into the corner, and it's gone. Opposite field home run for Decker. The power surge is real. He's got double-figure home runs now.
Wind kind of blowing that way. You get backspin on that ball the opposite direction, and it just carried. It kind of looked like George had a beat on it early and just kept going back, and right in the corner of the ballpark, and the Rebs take an early lead.
Well, part of his growth and adjustment to SEC pitching has been added strength, and that makes a stroke like this possible.
Yeah, look at his eyes. Didn't even know where it went, and stayed through it enough late on the fastball, but still quick enough to get some power behind it.
Last year, 276 plate appearances for Murray State, 0 home runs. He's got 10 now for the Rebs as Tristan Becerra stands in.
Yeah, he gave up home runs for average. Hit 350 at Murray State last year. 268 this year, but the power's there. Star Wars.
Yeah, he's got the force.
Let's go.
And Tristan Becerra chips one foul. So you give up a bomb to Decker, and now you got to deal with Becerra and Udemark back-to-back, both of them with 20 home runs.
Yeah, Josh McDevitt going for the top 10 list at Missouri for strikeouts. He's 9 shy of that, and that's a list that includes Max Scherzer, Tanner Houck.
Good looking list. Last time out against Texas, McDevitt went 3 innings, allowed 3 hits and a run. Missouri got swept to close the season at Texas, but won its penultimate conference series against Vanderbilt. Got some help from controversy and Mother Nature with the fall.
That was nuts.
1-2 to Becerra. Well, let me tell you, when that fog comes rolling in off of Hinkson Creek, there is nothing you can do.
Nothing except wait and look at the TrackMan info.
If that works.
Can you believe that? We're going games off TrackMan. Ball they hit 375. And it was like 108 off the bat, and they called it a ground rule double.
Nobody
just
saw
on
it.
the track by.
Breaking ball. Clips Becerra. This is what it looked like in Boone County a couple of weeks ago. And talking with Tim Corbin at practice yesterday, he said, you know, by the time we left the ballpark, it was clear. This was 1:09 Eastern. Missouri's in Central Time, by the way. So 12:09 in Columbia, and they thought that was gone. It was initially ruled a home run. The umpires got together and talked about it. Couldn't confirm that it was a home run. It was wiped off. Called a ground rule double. Said, let's all go home for the night. Try it again tomorrow.
And Missouri won that game.
Yes, they won that game.
Came back and
in
won.
extras.
Yeah. That would have put Vanderbilt up. That was Braden Holcomb hit that ball the other way.
Instead, they took the runs off the board. Here's Judd Udemark. You remember the fog game we had here a couple of years ago? LSU in Florida. I think it was 19.
Right. Yeah. And it's funny they wait for a ball to be hit before they think, you know what, we can't play in this.
Well, there were a lot of discussions before that half inning about whether or not they should continue playing. And oddly enough, ground ball to third. Udemark hits into a ton of double plays, and they only get the lead runner.
Good call, JJ.
And there's one out with one aboard. Missouri staff said, listen, it wasn't fair to us to have to play defense in the fog. For you to play defense in the fog, we'll stick with it. And then obviously after that issue, everybody wishes they would have just
called it before the inning. Yeah, the runners had to go back to third on a ground rule double. That would have scored the go-ahead run for Vanderbilt at the top of the ninth. So crazy. If you haven't seen that, go look it up on YouTube. Guy in the outfield was holding the ball beyond the fence.
Here's Will Furness. Runner goes, swing and a miss. Throw down to second is late. And Judd Udemark gets his 11th stolen base. Mateo Cernas, a Missouri catcher. Tigers have had a really hard time holding runners this year.
Yeah, we all know you still on the pitcher. Cerna's only thrown out 14% of the runners. And there's another one for Udemark. Again, he's a big dude, 6'5", but can really run.
Takes a double play out of the equation for Furness, who's hit into a league-high 7 double plays. How do you say his hometown?
Nacogdoches, Texas. Dr. Eddie Furness, his dad. Crystal, his mom, and my sister were college roommates.
Flipped out of play. So did you go to the baby shower for Will?
Did not. No. When he was born?
Yeah.
I am that old, but no, I didn't go.
He started every game at first base this season, 51 starts last year. And 12 home runs last season. Sitting on 7 home runs this year, and he goes down on the fastball for out number 2.
Yeah, that's what we talked about with Josh McDevitt in the open. I mean, just a riding fastball just up in the zone above the belt. That always looks good as a hitter because it's closer to your eyes, and so you go after it. But with any velocity behind it, it's hard to catch up to. And Will Furness swings right through it.
And brings Hayden Federico up. And Federico fouls one off. .279 average with 3 home runs, 24 driven in, and a sophomore from West Monroe has given them elite defense in the outfield.
Federico's their best hitter within the SEC. He's hit .333 with 100 at bats. And like I said, high school quarterback. He's an athlete.
Threw for 3,000 yards and 36 touchdowns. Ran for another 18. He was also valedictorian of his class at West Monroe. 0-2 to Federico. To short, Durnin. And that closes the Ole Miss first, but not before Dom Decker connects for his 4th leadoff home run, tied for the most in the SEC. 10 home runs on the season for Dom Decker. The SEC Baseball Tournament on the SEC Network is presented by Regions Bank, the official bank of the SEC. Tom Hart, Todd Walker, cast of thousands supporting us for Game 1 of what will be an amazing week of baseball here. Summer feels like it's arrived, Todd. It'll push 90 degrees today.
And it's 190 in this booth. Yeah.
Come on. We got cold water. We got fans. What else?
We do have that. Thank you, guys. Yeah, I just
hydrated.
wanted people to feel sorry for us.
Nobody
cares.
Nobody's going to feel sorry for us. Here's Mateo Cerna, the Mizzou catcher, leads off with a swing and a foul tip. Junior from Doral, Florida, comes out of a great high school program. Couple of home runs and 19 driven in for Cerna, facing Will Libbert for Ole Miss. Cerna's out of American Heritage High School. Guys like Jonathan India, who starred in Florida, now in the big leagues. Eric Hosmer won a World Series with the Royals. On the football side, Patrick Surtain Jr. Just off the plate with 96, 2-1. Cerna went 3 for 12 in the series against Texas to close the regular season. Missouri went down to Austin and showed some life and battled in late innings, but dropped that series, got swept. Three and one now. Last year, in the series against Ole Miss, Cerna hit a pair of home runs, and here in the SEC tournament, in the loss against Alabama, he went yard. And he fouls this one onto the berm. We got, oh, not quite in the berm. We got one kid on the berm right now. One, and he is going to own right field. These guys are in the stands but one dude on the grass.
He's going to get a collection out there of baseballs for sure.
He's like, he doesn't know how lucky he is just yet.
No doubt. Is he blocking off the entrance?
He might
Parents waiting at the door. Nobody beyond this gate.
He's like you getting into the club. You know, you slip 100 at the doorman. He paid off security. He said, I am the only one allowed to touch grass.
Patiently waiting. It's a great shot.
Libbert back. 7th pitch of the at-bat, and Cerna bangs it up the middle for a leadoff single against his former teammate.
5 hits in the last 5 games for Mateo Cerna. They're on to Libbert a little bit because he's throwing predominantly fastballs. It is 96-97, and I like that Libbert's doing that, but eventually they're going to get the timing down, and Mateo Cerna, leadoff base hit.
And now Donovan Jordan, freshman from Humble, Texas. Ole Miss has turned 28 double plays on the season. His pitching staff overall 3rd in the country in Ks per 9 innings. 2nd in the SEC in strikeouts. And just an okay defense from a fielding percentage perspective, 973. That's 11th in the league. Breaking ball to greet Jordan, 0-1. Will Libbert is from Blair Oaks High School in Cole County, Missouri. Cole County adjacent just south of Boone County, where obviously Mizzou is, and he started his career in Columbia. You think he still has some Mizzou gear stuff in duffel bags back home in St. Thomas, Missouri?
Oh, I think so, and I think they kind of are going off the energy he may have pitching against his former team. The numbers aren't great for Will Libbert, up near 7 on the ERA, but he's had his moments where he's been good. But again, for him today, I think it's longevity and lasting, and that's why you're seeing a lot of fastballs. He's trying to get quick contact and stay out there as long as he can, because again, for Ole Miss to make a run this week, or for any team, they're going to need all the pitching they can find.
You like the new single elimination format?
I do, but it makes it a little, luck becomes more of a factor, right? Because one game in baseball doesn't mean much, and when you start stacking teams that are equal in talent for the most part in the SEC, you know, it's who gets the key base hit at the end, who's got the starter that goes the distance. And in this situation, Will Libbert, who you mentioned, has been their 3rd guy with Taylor Rabe. A guy like this goes out and deals on a day like today when you don't necessarily expect it.
So 2 ways to look at it. From a player perspective, it's a huge opportunity.
Right.
And we've seen that happen before, where players who were either shuffled to the side or buried behind better talent had an opportunity to take the stage and shown here in Hoover. And keep Cerna near the bag. He only has 1 stolen base on 1 attempt this season.
Yeah, but Libbert has already picked 1, so I think he thinks that now we're going to try to get multiple picks at first. I mean, again, you see him messing with the dirt. Still a little slippery out there.
What do you want as a base runner when it comes to the dirt?
Well, I always played on the hard dirt, like, so they water it down in the 1st, 2nd inning, but by the time the sun bakes on it, it gets real hard. I do like, you know, most fields now are turf where your cleats kind of give. I like a little give, but clearly in the 1st inning when the dude got picked off, I mean, it's too much, and they didn't get a chance to get out there and practice it. So you got to get used to it for sure.
Swing and a miss, and the fastball after starting Jordan off with the breaking ball, and that's the first strikeout of the game for Will Libbert.
Will Libbert using that 97-mile-an-hour fastball up in the zone, and that's where spin rate comes into play. You got a high spin rate on that fastball. You know, the same pitch in with the same velocity ends up in a different location, and for him, especially high above the belt, like we saw Josh McDevitt on the other side, it has carry to it. It gives the illusion that it's rising. It's hard to catch up to.
You think Libbert's picking on his own, or is that coming from the dugout?
No, I think he's picking on his own.
Caden Pierre hitting .265 with a home run. reverse splits. He's hitting .298 against lefties, .223 against righties. Junior from Chesterfield, Missouri, the high school in St. Louis at Christian Brothers. Two-time Metro Catholic Conference Player of the Year at CBC. And the bunt attempt is popped up, mile high. Foley didn't see it. Missouri leads the SEC in bunts for hits and second in the league in sacrifices. Not a power team. They've got to play small ball to score.
No, and he's trying to catch Udemark, not paying attention. I never loved the quick turnaround on the bunt. I mean, if you're going to bunt, get it out in plenty of time. If you make a nice bunt with the third baseman back down the line, left field, or the third base line, you're going to be safe. But you try to be quick with it. You don't get the barrel in the right position. You get a lot of pop-ups. And the reason he's picking on his own is because, to your point, Mateo Cerna has one bag.
Yeah.
So Libbert doesn't know that. He's just trying to throw over there and keep him close.
Also helps reset the pitch clock, if that's a concern. The view of Kevin Sweeney. And 3 pitches to dispatch Pierre, helped out with the failed bunt. Back-to-back strikeouts for Libbert.
Basically a 2-pitch mix from Will Libbert, working off that fastball with this slider. And that's got some good spin to it. Low and in, or low and away. Lefty-lefty matchup. Just hard ball moving away from the barrel. When it looks like a fastball, you go after it, and then you realize it's spinning out of the zone.
So Cerna reached with the leadoff single. Missouri in danger of stranding him as Jamal George looks at a first pitch fastball for a strike. And his bones in this state, 2 seasons at Alabama State. He was a SWAC Freshman of the Year in 23. Ripped under the glove of Udemark and into left. George has a hit, and Mizzou's got 2 on with 2 down.
Mizzou can swing it a little bit. That hasn't been the problem. Jamal George made 17 starts at Texas A&M last year, transfers over, just rips it with Udemark playing up on the grass, expecting yet another bunt. And that's what you love about showing bunt. You pull that left side in, it creates more angles. And Jamal George, with the threat to be able to bunt, brings Udemark in, blows it right by him.
And extends the inning for Chris Patterson, who started the last 5 games. Sophomore from Frisco, Texas, has a couple of home runs and 13 driven in. He was the early starter at third base to begin the season, but suffered a broken finger in practice. That put him on the shelf after he had surgery. And they thought he'd be lost for the year. So good to get him back, and had 3 hits in the Texas series.
Yeah, made 30 starts last year as a freshman. Carrick Jackson loves this kid and went through some freshman things, Carrick Jackson said, but really a nice player over at third. 6'3", big dude.
You ever go through any freshman things?
I still do. Yeah, a lot of freshman things. That's right. Well, if you talk to Scott Strickland, who's at Georgia Tech now, the old Georgia coach, he'll tell you the greatest thing about freshmen is they turn into sophomores. That's where Chris Patterson is now.
One and 2 to Patterson. Righties have had some success against Libbert here today. 3 of the 4 batting from the right side have reached against him. And the pitch usage certainly adjusts when he's facing a righty versus a lefty. He throws a changeup to right-handers. He does not throw to lefties. Although I'm not sure we've seen many changeups so far today. Cerner at second, George at first, the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Got him with the cutter and strikes out the side around a pair of singles.
How about Will Libbert? 97 is backpacking on the fastball, up and elevated, working off that with the slider and the cutter to get Chris Patterson for 3 strikeouts in a row here in the second.
SEC tournament back in Hoover, Alabama. We've had sensational weather all spring, and hopefully that continues this week, but it's going to be a hot one for the first time really all spring here in the South. And not to put my weather forecast hat on, but we may have to dodge some thunderstorms later in the week.
They're on to the kid in right field.
They are, huh?
Yeah, they've multiplied.
They're like gremlins. Somebody fed the kids after midnight.
Threw some water on them.
So to the bottom of the second, bottom half of the order for Ole Miss, starting with Owen Payno. And Josh McDevitt tries to hunt the low end of the zone, but just misses. 1-0. Sophomore from Poughkeepsie, New York. Out of Roy C. Ketchum High School. He was the New York Gatorade Player of the Year coming out of high school a couple of years ago. Last year a part-timer. Dozen starts at short, a handful at second.
Yeah, 16 starts last year. Hit a home run in the Bama series this past weekend, had 3 hits. 6'3" sophomore, good looking kid.
5 home runs and 20 driven in for Payno. Ole Miss 15th in the country in home runs. In for a strike, 2-2. Really up and down season for Ole Miss overall. The low point was the sweep at home to Mississippi State, which followed a midweek loss to Memphis. They would then lose the Governor's Cup game to Mississippi State. So it was 0-4 against their rival.
Yeah, and I had that Mississippi State series in Oxford. At that point, I thought Mississippi State was probably the best team in the league because they were 19-0 at home, dating back to last year. Mississippi State, they go home. Mississippi State goes home, and they get swept twice. So then, you know, then you're thinking, well, maybe it's Texas, maybe it's Georgia, Auburn.
Well, and Ole Miss bounced back from that sweep in Starkville, or pardon me, at home in Oxford, because then they went to Gainesville and they swept Florida. Swing and a miss for Payno, and McDevitt notches his second K in the last 3 faced. So 1 down coming up between games. SEC Now will have all the highlights, analysis, and reactions from players and coaches They'll also look ahead to the next SEC tournament games. That's the copy to read, but I don't really feel like that does it justice. I mean, my guys are just chilling.
Look at Dari with his feet up.
I'm surprised he still has shoes on. It's a flip-flop kind of day for Dari.
That's right. He's got to be thinking ping pong.
By the way, Dari Noka, I noticed last weekend, does a great Peter Burns impersonation. Austin Foley fouls one off. So break down where you think Ole Miss is, not necessarily from a resume standpoint, but summarize where they are to this point in the season with the NCAA tournament right around the corner.
Yeah, well, they're going to get in. We know that. Right now, D1 baseball has them as a 2 seed. You know, we talked about the resume. I think they got to get through Mississippi State tomorrow. 2-0 gives them 17 wins in the league. That's strong. They're 15-15. Last year in the league, 11 of the 16 teams had a 500 record or better. That shows you how competitive this conference is. Ole Miss is 15-15 during the regular season. Where are they? Middle of the pack, you know.
Talking with Mike Bianco yesterday, he said, listen, we know where we stand. And number 18 overall, you're just 2 spots away from hosting. He said, but I'm not going to mess with next weekend just to try and host, as valuable as it is. This one rocketed deep to right field into the corner and foul. Long run for Pierre Seals, meaning we have our rotation. We have an elite closer. Our guy got the first foul ball to right field.
He's got it with some competition. Let's go.
And his point was, I don't need to try so hard to win today and win tomorrow to try and chase the host to screw everything up next weekend. Remember, Ole Miss has had great success in the postseason going on the road.
Yeah, they want to have that 5- and 6-day rest period that the hitters are used to.
Foley straightens it out. Seals chased all the way back. Will jump, and he runs out of space. Opposite field home run, Austin Foley. And it's 2-0 Ole Miss.
Austin Foley, 21 home runs last year. That is the most by a catcher in the Mike Bianco era. This year, his 13th home run. Dude can really swing the bat. Average is down, but he can pop it the other way. That's the second home run we've seen the other direction.
Was that the cutter?
Can't tell from this angle. It looked like it was spinning. I don't think Austin Foley could even tell you. He just stayed on it. Ripped it to right field. Again, when you go the opposite direction, you're going to get backspin on that ball. That kick, that gives it more carry. And today, wind's a little dead, but it's blowing. I mean, it's carrying out.
It's a 376-foot home run. It's 335 down the lines and 405 to straightaway center. Foley's really turned on the power lately.
So back to your point, a lot of these teams are trying to get their pitchers, their starting pitchers, enough rest so when they start the regional next week, Thursday or Friday, they're on that 5- or 6-day deal. That shows you our second game, Kentucky, how important they think that game is. They're throwing their ace, Jackson Jelkin, today.
Yeah, regionals will start on Friday, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday with perhaps Game 7 Monday.
So a lot of these teams are lining up their staff for that, and like you said, Will Libbert, their third guy with Taylor Rabe. I mean, so they're going third. I think that Ole Miss has a real chance. Hunter Elliott, I'm still waiting to the next level, right? I mean, his freshman year, they win the national championship. He makes that run. Now he's in his 5th year. He was drafted in the 20th round last year, decided to come back. So they've got Hunter Elliott, and then Cade Townsend's a real dude. Like, he's a big leaguer. And so they've got 2 of those guys in their back pocket. Townsend threw on Saturday. And so he's trying to line up the rest, for next weekend. It would be nice to host, though. He knows that. In Oxford, what an advantage.
Breaking ball at the shoe top, swung on a miss by Pacella, and it's a 3rd strikeout for McDevitt.
3 strikeouts in the last 5 hitters, starting to mix in that slider to go with that electric fastball. And Josh McDevitt has had a big year for him. On a team that hasn't had a lot of success, Josh McDevitt has been the bright spot for Missouri.
Just to put a button on the Ole Miss pitching staff, you also have Walker Hooks with 7 saves.
Yep. Yeah, bullpen's good. They returned 75% of their arms from last year. So
Randall rips it to Woida. Elmer Fudd would have a hard time with that one. A solo home run for Austin Foley, 2nd of the game for the Rebs.
Just a fastball right on the outside corner. Austin Foley stays back, goes with it. Other direction. Rebs up 2-0.
ballpark for this conference tournament. Great attendance once again to get things started. It will only build, and that includes with LSU later tonight. What are the LSU fans thinking?
That's a tough one. And LSU has to win this tournament to get into the postseason. And a lot of injuries. You'd think they'd get after it. Casey Evans has been hurt. He's coming back, and so he's their ace. You would assume he'd go today because LSU needs a win. Tournament win, not just one game.
I did notice on the drive in there were some LSU tents. So they're still here. You're in the RV lot. What have you seen?
And they do love baseball. So I told you that one of the fans said, you know, LSU win or lose, we're here all week. And so a lot of them love staying, watching games. Today's beautiful because you can sit anywhere you want. They got 4 baseball games today. Beautiful place to watch baseball if you love the game.
Pierre Seals finds a hole on the left side. Leadoff single for Mizzou. And a grad transfer from Memphis has a knock.
Yeah, Carrick Jackson coached in Memphis before he came over to Missouri. This is his 3rd year, and Pierre Seals leads off out of the 9 spot with a base hit.
And that will bring Jace Woida to the plate. Woida transferred in from South Carolina. The pitch is upstairs. He was a South Carolina fan as a youngster. He's from Lincoln, Nebraska, and his family would regularly attend the College World Series in Omaha. One of 4 kids whose parents had each child choose their favorite team, and I'm guessing this was in the Ray Tanner era given Jace's age and their success. Jackie Bradley, yada yada. Anyway, he picked South Carolina.
Talented family. Dad Jeff played baseball at Kansas State. Mom Marcy was a golfer in college. Jace Woida getting a lot of at-bats as a graduate now, and gets on base 40% of the time. That's why he's leading off and a good piece of this offense this year.
Pursuing his MBA at Mizzou, started his college career at Kansas City, Kansas Community College. He only had a few NAIA and Division III offers. Got underneath this one. Long run for Becerra. And pops it up to right for out number 1.
Mike Bianco's got to love what he's seen out of Will Libbert so far. Again, the question mark was his longevity in a game like this, but the fact that he's throwing more fastballs is going to allow him to last a little longer. It is a big ballpark from the gaps to center field. We've seen 2 home runs go in the corners. A little more fair down there, but challenge these hitters today, and that's what Will Libbert's doing.
Cam Durnan drew a walk his first time up, and then he was picked off when he spun his wheels in the dirt over at first. Four-year starter Lynn Creek set the school record for average single season and career, and safe at second base. Stolen base for Seals. Decker tried to get the tag on the backside on the head first slide.
Yeah, great job up here. Seals, that was just a first move. So what happens as a left-hander, you take the read out of it and you just go the first step that Libbert makes. After the pickoff, he just guessed he wouldn't pick off twice in a row, and Pierre Seals gets down to second base.
Ball and a strike now to Durnan. Two for 12 against Texas, but hit 500 with 5 runs, a couple of doubles, and a triple against Vanderbilt. And he drives this one high and deep to left field. Pacella, late jump, won't matter. It is gone. 2-run home run, Cam Durnan, and Mizzou has arrived in Hoover.
When they talk about getting your arms extended on the baseball, that's the farthest it's going to travel. That was it. Cam Durnan got out in front of that baseball. Watch the extension here and just rips it into left center. A no-doubter What's been working for Will Libber, that fastball is starting to come back. Now second time through the lineup. They've got it timed up, and Cam Durnan ties this game up. Big blast to left center.
405 feet, according to TrackMan, and now Blaze Ward will take a shot and breaking ball in for a strike. Hot shot to short. Pano takes care of it, 2 down.
Will Libber not missing too many barrels in this inning. The base hit by Seals and the fly out to right field, followed by the home run, and then the bullet right at short. And he's having to navigate through the middle of this Missouri offense right now.
Cerna with a single up the middle last time up. Well, for Missouri, a program that has doubled its SEC win total this year versus last year. Under Carrick Jackson, his 3rd season as a head man at Mizzou. Along with folks around the program, they're excited about what's next. Renewed emphasis and investment in the roster going into next season. And listen, if you're in this league and you're not dedicated to winning, you can't luck your way into it in this league.
Well, Carrick Jackson goes so far as he's made a chart, and they've got categories of certain situations in baseball games, like getting the bunt over, getting the guy in from second with 2 outs, that type of thing. And if they get 60% of them, they win. And so he's got to focus on these kids. They don't get plug and play kids. He's got to develop them, and that's what Carrick Jackson talks about, winning in the margins. And that's what he's been trying to do since he's got there. Just develop the young kids like Chris Patterson at 3rd base. Brady Kellenbrink on the mound, who was their starter as a freshman Friday night guy last year. You got Josh McDevitt now creating that, but a lot of young kids on this Missouri roster, and Carrick Jackson and Tim Jamison over there has been at Missouri for 31 years, Hall of Fame coach. You know, trying to develop them, because again, they don't get the transfers to just instantly, you know, get some wins. And I love what Carrick Jackson said about Tim Jamison being in the dugout. A lot of times people are a little afraid of that. He goes, I don't have to be right, I just have to get it right. And so he's not threatened by Tim Jamison. I think they work well together. And you're right, doubled their win total in the SEC from last year.
Looking for their first tournament win since 17. Fly ball to right field off the bat of Cerna. Becerra handles it. But Cam Durnan with his 8th home run of the season. Who says they have to play just small ball?
Boy, he jumped on this one. Just fastball, guess, or spinning little cutter right down the middle. Cam Durnan goes down and gets it. And the Tigers on the board, 2-2.
Have a ton on the line, Vanderbilt and Kentucky.
This feels like a last four in, first four out game between Kentucky and Vanderbilt. The winner of that, of course, will probably be in that list of last four in, and the loser, probably the first four out of the tournament next field of 64.
For Vanderbilt, it's an RPI problem. For Kentucky, the measurables are all pretty good. And spending time with Nick Mingione yesterday, he said, listen, we're in. I'm comfortable. I'm confident. We are in. Now, they could cement their status with the win today. First pitch to Dom Decker misses low, 1-0.
Yeah, I think they need it. 34 on the RPI, 13 wins in the league.
And here's an ABS challenge. It's on the big board here. And Missouri's now won 2 challenges, one on the Ole Miss side, one on the Mizzou side, so they're called overturned, 0-1. Decker sends another one into the opposite field corner. George this time catches up to it after his opposite field home run in the first.
Yeah, how about that? Almost in the exact same spot he hit the home run back in the first inning, and just doesn't get enough of this one.
And here's Tristan Becerra. Becerra has doubled his home run total from 3 seasons at Clemson. 58 starts with the Tigers over 3 years, and he jumps on the first pitch and lines it to center. Good range by Caden Peer. 2 down.
Yeah, he was all over that one. Becerra with a rip. 9 home runs in SEC play, 30 games, and he can barrel up a baseball. Just did it right there. No luck. Second out.
So here's Judd Utermark. Josh McDivitt getting into his 3rd inning of work. Career home run leader for Ole Miss. Utermark was just 1 for 12 against Bama last weekend. Struck out 7 times.
This is when you want to face him. Nobody on, 2 outs.
Actually, you'd prefer to face him with the bases loaded. He's only 1 for 7 with the bases loaded, and in that Governor's Cup game against State, I think he struck out twice with the bases, Jude.
Yeah, but that one is the reason you wouldn't want to do it. But again, you get the guy that you circle the lineup not to beat you up with nobody on and 2 outs. That's where you want to be, and he's a good-looking ball player. That Utermark can run. Strong arm, left side of the infield. It's a lot of home runs. That record was for Ole Miss was a 1987 record by Kyle Gordon. Hit 48 home runs. He just busted it with 49.
6'5", 250. And the count goes to 3-1 to Utermark. Team had 22 home runs last year, 2nd single season school history. RBI 4th in school history last year. And he draws ball 4 with 2 outs in the 3rd. Walks have been a major issue for this Missouri pitching staff. 15th in the SEC in walks issued.
It's been a major issue in college baseball in general, and when you're trying to throw it right down the middle, Josh McDevitt just tries to throw it a little too hard and lets it go high, but you know, it's kind of been the issue, chasing velocity, you know, trying to throw too hard a lot of times, and they miss their spots.
So Will Furness the threat. He struck out swinging his first time up. Furness had a monster series against Georgia earlier this year. Went 5 for 10 with 3 home runs.
Played over 200 games at Ole Miss. Been around. 31 home runs.
Here's the 1-0 to Furness. And this one's lined into center field. Diving play by Pierre. Caden Pierre takes extra bases away from Will Furness. And Ole Miss strands a runner.
Go get a Caden Pierre. How about that? 2 lasers to center field. What a nice play by Caden Pierre in center field. Let's go.
To host. How does that figure in to how you manage this week, specifically with the pitching staff?
Well, you know, obviously it's on everybody's mind, but I think the number one thing is to put yourself in the best position, you know, next week, right? And you want to take care of your guys. But I say that, you know, you're here to win. You know, I've been here for a long time. We've only won a couple of them, you know, and it's the neatest tournament outside, you know, the College World Series. And so, you know, we're going to do what we can, and that's one of the reasons that you go with a guy like Libert today rather than one of the weekend starters. But it was really because, you know, we felt those other guys, they weren't ready to do it today. And so, you know, some of those decisions, but, you know, it's not just the starters. I think that's the most talked about is how you're going to use the bullpen the rest of the week.
Bio, you taught me how to hit 30 years ago in Baton Rouge.
I sat there in the mire, Todd.
That wasn't the question. Yeah. Dom Decker goes deep. Austin Foley both opposite field. I mean, how much emphasis you put on like driving the ball the other way?
Well, you know, obviously it's hard to be good at this game offensively unless you can hit the ball the other way. If you become too, you know, one-dimensional, it's going to be too easy. There's too much information out there on how to pitch you. But, you know, those guys got some good swings. To be fair, those guys just got some good swings on fastballs and you know, hit them in the right spot.
Mike, thanks for the time. We appreciate it.
All right, guys, appreciate you.
Mike Bianco, national champion, head coach. Caden Pierre at the plate for Missouri. He taught you to hit. Tell me more.
I'd never been to Omaha, and he had gone to Omaha with Ben McDonald and those guys in '89, and he had hit 1 home run. And so we sat and talked hitting and home runs forever. I thought that was the greatest thing in the world to be able to hit one out of Rosenblatt Stadium back in the day. And then we'd go. And honest to God, he calmed me down. I think that was the main thing. You know, I was over anxious, jumping at everything. We faced a guy named Daniel Choi on opening night, you know, pulling that string. KP remembers him. And I just couldn't stay back. And so Mike Bianco just calmed the nerves, calmed everything down. It ended up turning out okay for me. But he was my third base coach at LSU. And, you know, just a great guy to have around. Now the longest tenured coach in the SEC, 26 years. Just a great dude, great family guy. And, Drew Bianco, his son, is actually on the staff now. Player development.
Well, he's won this tournament twice, 06 and 18, 2-1. In for a strike. I remember that 06 tournament. It was loaded. That would have been Lance Lynn on that team, correct?
Let's go
Golly,
with
that was a huge I just remember the scouts behind home plate on the weekend. There was real heat. And the pitch misses low.
Well, we talked about Will Libbert. His longest outing in SEC play is 4 innings. He's into the 4th right now, and he's doing what they hoped he would do, at least 2 times through the lineup. And the more a starter can go, obviously, it helps you guys out, especially when you're playing on a Tuesday. It's a long week.
Mark Wright for Ole Miss was the MVP of that 06 tournament champion team as Pierre draws a 1-out walk. That was tournament team with guys like Pedro Alvarez and Ryan Flaherty on the left side of the infield for Vandy. Alex Presley and Mark Wright in the outfield for Ole Miss. So Jamal George back to the plate. Couple of different stops in his college career. Alabama State, then A&M, and now Missouri. George had a 2-out single first time up, showed bunt. Showed it earlier. Missouri leads the SEC with 19 bunts for a hit. Yeah, that Ole Miss team in 06, Zach Kozar, Chris Coughlin, man, they were loaded. Lance Lynn was 7-3 for him. Will Klein was pretty good. Finally broke through, made it to Omaha, then won the whole thing. 0-2 to George. By the way, that 06 draft was headlined by Tennessee's Luke Hochaver. Ended up turning down the Royals and going to play indie ball for a year. And Missouri's Max Scherzer went 11th overall.
Well, they missed him by 10 picks, didn't they?
Sure did.
Wow. He's been okay.
Will wait. And Libbert got a little infatuated when Cerna was at first base in the 2nd inning. Now doing the same with Pierre, who's been thrown out 5 out of 11 attempts this year.
Well, they picked off Durnan in the 1st inning, 2nd hitter of the game, and so now he's
great jump, a little dribbler off the plate, and only play is at first. George retired. There's 2 down. Sunday, 6 Eastern. It's Rally Cap. They'll break down the softball supers and this SEC baseball tournament. Oh, runner in scoring position and 2 down for Chris Patterson.
And this would be one of the categories that I was talking about with Carrick Jackson on his board. They get 60%, they win baseball games. This would be one, the 2-out RBI base hit.
96 upstairs, holding the velocity here, 62 pitches in. Yeah, the struggles with runners in scoring position, one of the things that has held Missouri's offense back this season. But Durnan's home run in the 3rd inning was his first home run with a runner on base. His first 7 were all solo. One and one.
Well, when you start thinking about doing it as a hitter, that's when it doesn't happen, and that's when you struggle. So you go back to the basics and just trying to hit the ball hard. For me, it was up the middle the other way primarily. That's when things like that happen. And I think for the Missouri offense trying to do a little too much, because we know they've struggled at times, that can happen. You overswing, and in these situations you put too much pressure on yourself.
This is a notoriously large ballpark and can be hard even for some power hitting teams to have big bat success here. Missouri came in only 48 home runs in the season, dead last in the league. And already have one. It was a 2-on shot from Durnin. Fastball up 2-2.
Yeah, well, 3 home runs in this game already, and but I think that's why you're seeing both sides throw predominantly fastballs. You know, you go to Georgia, you go to College Station where they give up the most home runs in the ballpark. It's much more difficult to challenge hitters with the metal bats. But out here, to your point, I think you throw more fastballs and you challenge guys, and it's working out.
Now 4 home runs over 11 games for Cam Durnin. Breaking ball misses away on the 3-2 pitch. That's 2 walks here in the 4th inning. Vandy's in the house. 19 season streak in the postseason for Vandy on the line coming into this week.
Big time on the line. RPIs in the 70s. I think they got to at least win 3 here.
We get a visit to mound to chat with Libbert. The Ole Miss bullpen is springing into action.
But you said you talked to Tim Corbin. He didn't seem overly anxious about the situation.
No, he didn't. He had J.P. Robertson getting loose. His message to his team, because there was some murmurs that some of the players had said, we've got to do this for Corbs. And his message was, guys, I don't want you to do anything for me. Don't think about me. Go out and play the game and play loose and have fun. So his goal this week was to keep the guys loose, and understanding everybody knows what's on the line and what needs to be done.
Yeah. I mean, there's only been 2 teams win this tournament the last 4 years. It's either been Tennessee or Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt won it last year. They were tied for 3rd in the regular season. They come in here and win the whole thing and become the #1 overall national seed. So a lot can happen this week.
It's proven difficult to win this tournament for a team with a sub-500 record in the SEC. And that's what Vanderbilt will try to accomplish. Commodores come in at 14-16 in league play. That is game 2 today, Vandy and Kentucky. Here's Pierre Seals. Seals with a single and a run scored. And a half swing bouncer to Furness. He'll toss underhand, and good coverage by Libbert. That will close the Missouri 4th. They have a couple base runners, but strand a pair. When we return, we'll chat with the head Tiger, Carrick Jackson. happy to be joined by Missouri head coach Kerrick Jackson down in the dugout. Coach, this team comes in, obviously the power numbers haven't necessarily been there, and this is a huge ballpark to hit in, yet Durnan wastes no time and goes yard with his 8th of the year.
Yeah, it's odd. It seems like the ball's carrying here better than it ever has. And I'm glad it's working in our favor. Not so glad that it worked in their favor, but we were able to get him in the right situation, and Cam's been a guy that's been able to come up for us big all year, so glad he was able to do it in that situation.
Kerrick, how about the developmental process? You got a lot of young kids, Blaze Ward, Chris Patterson. Talk about some of the development those kids have had.
Again, when you look at him, Patterson played a lot last year as a true freshman. Blaze has played in every conference game. And so, again, with how we're doing it and the way we need to build it is with guys like that. And it's not pretty, but it takes time. And you can see that those guys are players. And as they get more experience underneath their belt, they're going to be big-time players in this league.
Kerrick, thanks for the time. We'll let you get back to work.
Appreciate you, MIZ.
Third year for Kerrick Jackson, who came over from Memphis and longtime assistant at Mizzou. And here's Hayden Federico to start the 4th. Federico 0 for 1 or the ground out to short. Well, Missouri is just 2-10 all time in the SEC tournament, and they are the 16th seed for the 2nd consecutive season.
I haven't won a game here since 2017.
Yep, that's right.
0-6, is that right?
That's right.
There you go, 2 for 2.
And the offense has been tough to come by. They haven't scored more than 4 runs in any of those. Beat A&M in 17 and a win against South Carolina in 15.
You can see it slowly become a little more of a confidence thing for them. You've seen them swing the bat pretty solid today, but I think it starts with the pitcher. You know, Josh McDevitt on the mound gives them some security up top. I mean, he's pitching well, and it kind of carries over. They haven't necessarily had that kind of consistency out of their starters.
Say Federico went 2-2.
You know, they lost Javen Pimental, one of their best pitchers, early in the year. Injury, out. A lot of young guys. And Missouri, you heard Kerrick Jackson say, still just trying to develop.
Into the shift. 1 down. Pair of solo home runs for Ole Miss this morning. First time with multiple home runs in an SEC tournament game since its opening game in 21 against Auburn.
This morning, how many times have you used that line, broadcasting baseball games?
Not very often.
This morning.
Well, a lot of times here, but it's usually games that are after midnight.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Dave Neal and Lance Cormier on the call this afternoon. This one skied and will be out of play to the left side. I ran into Dave on the elevator this morning. I said, Dave, you realize you don't have to be awake this early.
He probably went and played 18.
36.
36 holes. He's dedicated.
Empty pitches in for McDevitt. He struck out Pano swinging first time. Fastball at 94, 1-2.
Yeah, good use of the fastball. Josh McDevitt, we talked about him in the open. The ball's got a high spin rate. Active in and out and up and down. Very accurate. And that's a good one when it's right down the middle, above the belt. That's where you get a lot of swing and misses. In or out, a hitter can see that a little better. But right down the middle, it looks like it's going to be a strike and just rises above the zone and just very, very difficult to catch up to, but also hard to lay off.
Swing and a miss on the fastball, and another strikeout for McDevitt, who's gotten Pano swinging twice. He did not get Austin Foley. Foley got him with this 376-foot shot back in the second.
Yeah, other way for Austin Foley. Hit it out of the 7th spot. His 13th home run of the year. Hit 21 last year. Like you said, use the force, and he did it, man. Forced it out to right field, and Austin Foley has a lot of pop.
And now McDevitt has retired 7 of the last 8 since the Foley home run. Spins one in for a strike. 0-1. Ole Miss trying to win its opening game in consecutive tournament appearances for the first time since 2019 and 21. Won its opener against Florida last year. Single elimination all the way through now. Second year of that format. 0-2. Bianco's counting fastballs over there. And he can count another. That's 95. Blew it by, and McDevitt with 5 Ks today. An opposite field leadoff home run for Dom Decker. Missouri was able to answer. Cam Durnan with a 2-run shot, and right back got it. Austin Foley with an opposite field home run. And we are tied at 2. And J.P. Robertson, right-hander, comes out of the bullpen for Ole Miss. 3-1 with a 2.97 ERA.
High velocity fastball up to 98 for J.P. Robertson. Equally good against the left-handed hitters and right-handers, both hitting around 250. Uses the changeup to the left-handers, more of a slider action. Actually, his primary pitch against right-handed hitters is the slider. Uses it almost 45%.
So Libbert went 4 innings, gave him 68 pitches, allowed the 2 runs on a home run. 3 walks and 3 Ks. And I thought Mike Bianco's answer to our question earlier about how he's going to manage the pitching staff was right on. It's not just the starting pitcher, but then who you use out of the bullpen.
Yeah, and they, again, Ole Miss returned 75% of their arms from last year, so a lot of experience on this pitching staff. Will Libbert gave them what they needed, got them through 4, and now they turn it over to J.P. Robertson.
Got him through the lineup twice, and first pitch line to the shortstop Pano, and Jace Woida retired. As efficient as you can do it.
A lot of line drives to short today in center field. Jace Woida does all he can do. Barrels it up right at Pano for the first out. And
here's Durnan. 8 home runs on the season, 7 of them solo shots. Robertson can give Ole Miss some length. He went 52 pitches over 3 innings at Alabama 4 days ago. Only allowed 1 hit. In fact, his last 2 outings, he hasn't allowed a run and has only allowed 2 hits over 4 innings. Robertson's got 1 start on the season. That came against Southern Miss on April 14th. 3 shutout, 3 hit innings, struck out 5, didn't walk a batter. Catches the edge with 96, 2-1.
Ole Miss has 8 guys with double-digit appearances, so they use a lot of guys out of the bullpen. J.P. Robertson making his 18th appearance. That's tied for 3rd on the staff behind Walker Hooks, their closer, and Landon Waters.
If Landon Waters is just hanging out right now, because I would imagine they want Robertson to give him a few.
Well, they're obviously hoping that, yeah. And then if they're in position toward the end, they go to Walker Hooks. But if they aren't, then Waters is next in line. Yeah, he's just moving around a little bit. And there's another walk.
4th walk issued by Ole Miss pitchers today. First for Robertson, and now against Blaze Ward. 0 for 2. Pop up in a line out. Ward is from Maumelle, Arkansas. Same high school as Darren McFadden and Drew Smiley. 3-time All-State performer. Won a 5A state championship, and we'll get a visit from Fawley. Talking approach to the freshman. Go behind the scenes with SEC Inside. Well, pardon me. Get ready for the road to Omaha with SEC Now Monday, 2 Eastern on SEC Network and the ESPN app. Everything you need to know heading into the tournament. I'm going to let you read the next one, Todd. I got my numbers mixed up. 2 o'clock Eastern on Monday.
Cam Durnan at first base has the most stolen bases on the team with 10, so they're kind of talking about that in addition to facing their 3-hole Blaze Ward, who can spray the ball around. I mean, he is a fun hitter to watch, and only a freshman.
Self-proclaimed hitter.
Yeah, Father Brody played college baseball. He's got 2 uncles, so that family, a lot of knowledge, a lot of baseball knowledge going through the Ward family.
He's hit about 60 points higher against right-handers. 323 against righties this year coming in, and a breaking ball misses low from J.P. Robertson. Robertson got Woyda to line out on the first pitch, then walked Durnan. And now behind the Ward. Surprised people in the Mizzou camp that Blaze Ward was left off of the all-freshman team. Runner goes, pitches a strike. The throw to second is a strike. Oh! JJ, January announces Missouri is going to challenge the call at second. Caught stealing for Durnan.
It sure looked like he got his left hand in there right when they made the tag. Let's see. Yeah, I think he's safe. Right on the left elbow as Durnan made the tag at second. Take another look. Yeah, I think he got in there.
So that would make Missouri winners of all 3 challenges today, right? We've had 2 ABS challenges at the plate, and now this replay challenge at second.
So they got that going for them. I don't know if that's part of the category.
After review, the run is safe. Missouri retains its challenge.
So Durnan moves into scoring position. 11 stolen base and 14 tries for the Mizzou shortstop.
Well, if you're always right, you can just keep going with the challenges.
That's right.
Just go all day.
It's like a bottomless cup.
That's right. Yeah.
2-1 of the freshman Ward.
With 2 outs, this is not a pitch he's going to split the plate with in a 2-2 baseball game. So you got the 3-0 Blaze Ward. This would be some sort of off speed. If he walks him, he's not worried about it. Creates forces around the bags. I
95.
I always felt like it made the pitcher feel a little better about himself. That's a perfect spot at 95, middle in. And so now with Blaze Ward, he starts thinking, how am I going to get the barrel of that pitch? And that's when you get susceptible to all the off speed. This could be a 3-2 off speed curveball here.
He has pitched in the upper 90s this season. In fact, he hit 100 facing Daniel Jackson back on April 25th. 3-2. Tugged it low. And back-to-back walks with 1 out.
Yeah, he didn't want to walk Cam Durnan, but this one he's not necessarily concerned about. You do have to face Mateo Serna, who has a base hit in this game. But there are 2 outs. Makes the defense a little easier. Or 1 out. Sorry.
We'll get another visit. First for Robertson.
So now it creates the double play. And if you're J.P. Robertson, you're trying to keep the ball low, have him beat it in the ground.
Robertson primarily fastball slider. He will throw a split finger to lefties. And curveball a little bit more to righties.
Yeah, a lot more to righties. Almost 60% slider and curveballs to right-handed hitters for J.P. Robertson.
Thank you. The problem for him, even though he's got that high velocity, his lefties have an OPS of 944 against his fastball. That is 400 points higher than right-handers against the same pitch.
Yeah, and to put that in perspective, in the OPS world, if you're above 1,001, that's elite. And so, to your point, when they know a fastball's coming, they don't miss.
2 home runs in the season for Serna. But he's hit into 6 double plays, tied for 3rd most in the league. Ole Miss will take that right here. J.P. Robertson looking a little lost right now. Back-to-back walks and behind in the count to Serna, who's hitting just .233 on the year. Swing and a miss on the fastball.
Yeah, it's nice spot there. Little tail on that fastball moving away from the barrel. And that'll get you a double play too off the end of the bat.
Breaking ball lifted down the right field line into no man's land, and it drops fair. Around third is Durnan. They will wave him home, and Missouri's got its first lead of the game on a bloop single off the bat of Mateo Serna.
Walks come back to bite you, 2 in a row, and a base hit by Mateo Serna puts Missouri in the league. They don't draw pictures as a hitter. You love that. Just find a spot where somebody's not standing. And Mateo Serna gets jammed a little bit, puts it right on the line. Wow, great spot.
And remember the overturn of the stolen base for Duran. That allowed him to stay in the game and come around to score. Now Donovan Jordan at the plate. Jordan redshirted at Texas last year for the Longhorns, who won the SEC. He was an All-American in high school coming out of Summer Creek in Humble, Texas. Fouled off Foley's mask. The Missouri team coming into the season, they had a loaded outfield, and part of the recruiting process with Jordan was a very clear understanding from Carrick Jackson that we've got a full outfield. This is a long-term play for you. 1-2 now. And as the season progressed, Jordan got more opportunities. He had 4 hits in the Vanderbilt series. He was out there every day against his former team in Austin last week. 2 on with 1 out.
Yeah, JP struggling a little bit with that slider command. Fastball's been good. He's, you know, like we talked about, it's almost 50-50 on the sliders and the fastballs.
Righty's hitting .333 against his slider this year. In the dirt, nice block by Foley to keep it in front of him.
Now he's in trouble. I always thought that 2-2 was a big pitch. You stand up there and shake, and you throw the fastball because the hitter still has a little bit of doubt. Now with 3-2 and nowhere to put him, you know what you're going to get. And with him struggling with the slider, you're looking dead red. It's a tough spot to be in for JP.
Ward at second, Cerna at first. Here's the payoff. Breaking ball fouled off.
He landed it pretty good. But that's a spinner, get him over, and if the hitter's looking for it, that's trouble. But I think Donovan Jordan was sold out on the fastball, and that's why he was off of that pitch.
Robertson has been all over the place. Of his 22 pitches, only 6 have found the strike zone. What he goes with here, the 3-2 again. And he tugs the fastball. And Missouri's loaded the bases thanks to another walk, 3rd walk of the inning issued by JP Robertson.
3 walks in the last 4 hitters. That bloop single into right field, and you start giving away free passes in the SEC is trouble, and Mike Bianco knows that.
So Robertson found just 1 out here in the 5th and gave him 23 pitches. And Mike Bianco talked about managing his bullpen. Game 1 of this tournament, single elimination, and not the performance that he wanted from Robertson, who walked 3 here in the 5th. Watching the SEC baseball tournament on the SEC Network, presented by Regions Bank. Ole Miss has had to go back to the bullpen already. Game 1 of 4 today and 1 of 15 this week here at Hoover. And Waters, 6'1" right-hander, 0-1 with a 2.45 ERA. This is his 22nd appearance.
Yeah, one of the tops in the team, being out on the field, 93 to 95 on the fastball, 130 points better against the right-handed hitters than he is the left-handed hitters. He's got the lefty Caden Pierre up now, but then he's going to face 5 right-handers in a row, and loves to use that slider, but it's predominantly fastball and cutter from Landon Waters.
Waters had a bounce-back performance at Alabama last week, inning in a third, allowed just 1 hit. Followed disaster against A&M the weekend prior, 4 runs, 5 hits, and 2/3 of an inning. Caden Pierre to the first pitch strike. Pierre struck out in the second, drew a walk in the fourth. One and one. Ward is the runner at third. He reached via walk. Mateo Cerna at second after his RBI bloop single, and Donovan Jordan at first. Bases juiced for Caden Pierre. Is that the cutter?
That looked like a slider to me.
Okay.
What was the velocity? The difference in the cutter and the slider is velocity, and the slider obviously has more depth to it.
Pierre is 3 for 6 with the bases loaded this season. Came back from a back injury, cost him early part of the year, and he sends a fly ball deep left. Pasella, late jump again, and this one's gone again. A pair of opposite field home runs for Missouri. This a grand slam for Caden Pierre. Second home run of the season for Pierre, and Missouri with a 5-run lead in the 5th.
Yeah, you knew that was trouble. Again, Landon Waters very good against the right-handed hitters, not so much the lefties, and that spinner is going into the barrel of Caden Pierre, who goes the opposite direction with the bases loaded. You just don't get away with walks in this league. They've walked 3 guys in this inning, and then Caden Pierre makes them play. A grand slam for Missouri.
That one just scraped over the wall for his second home run of this season. Came in with 10 ribbies, give him 14 now, and Jamal George at the plate. George fouls the first one back. Missouri came in with losses in 16 of its previous 19 games for a program that rolled through its non-conference and went 15-2 to start the season.
Yeah, they did the right thing, playing the guys that they know they'd have a chance to beat. 15 out of 17 before the conference season started. They've looked good today. They've got their ace on the mound, Josh McDevitt, so they're set up today to play as good as they can play.
George, the 7th batter this inning for Missouri. The Tigers this season became the fastest team in program history to reach the 100-run milestone. It happened in just 8 games and came after a 15-1 win against Arkansas Pine Bluff. The previous record was 9 games set by the '87 squad. Came in large part thanks to a 34-3 win against Mount St. Mary's. George caught looking. The highest run total against a Division I opponent for a Division I team this season in college baseball. Second most in a single game in program history. And as a team, a program best 32 RBI, you might be thinking, well, Yeah, when's the last time they had something like that? Well, against Augie Garrido's Texas Longhorns in 2008, Missouri drove in 28. Think about that in a Big 12 game.
Sounds like a Big 12 football game.
It does. It was probably one of the same years if you've seen the late Augie Garrido having a meltdown.
Yes, exactly.
It was probably
right after one of those games.
Could have been. That was a really good Texas team that year too. One and one now to Patterson. I had to do a deep dive on that yesterday because I was fascinated by how Missouri could have scored so many runs against a good Texas team. It was a 31-12 win for Mizzou over Texas. Texas was ranked 12th in the country. Popped up to right field. And that will do it. But Missouri sends 8 to the plate, and Caden Peer does this.
4 reach base in a row in front of Caden Peer. The other way, a grand slam with the Austin Butler lookalike. How about that?
Peer, second grand slam this season for Mizzou, second in their SEC tournament history, and just a second home run of the year for Caden Peer.
He had a big year last year. 47 games, hit 300 with 5. Can really run it down in center field. I mean, this kid can play.
Play for the Rebels, the left fielder, number 25, Daniel Pasella.
Daniel Pasella leads off the 5th for Ole Miss. He is 0 for 1 with a strikeout. And swings at the first. Seals. 1 down.
Josh McDevitt's been really consistent, and that's what we expected out of him. He's pitched in the 7th 4 of his last 6 SEC starts, and he's been using that fastball to work off of that with his curveball and the changeup. He's in command of all 3 pitches, equal use of all the lefties and righties. Josh McDevitt having a day.
Soft line drive for Randall. Finds grass in right. And the 9-hole hitter's got a knock. That'll take us back to Dom Decker.
Nice solid swing right over the plate after the first out. He's already seen him once. He lined out to first base. Now Randall gets a hold of it. Gets a runner for the Rebs, down by 5.
Decker 1 for 2. Opposite field home run. He rode another one deep to left last time up. Think about this, 0 home runs last year. You mentioned he did a great job hitting for average for that Murray State team that made it to Omaha. And part of the discussion yesterday was how both playing at Swayze Field in the postseason and then to Omaha gave him the confidence that even though he may face some pitchers the likes of which he's not used to facing, that he was ready for the big stage. And he said, listen, there wasn't a whole lot of velocity that I had faced, and I got to come in the fall and face this pitching staff. But it accelerated the process knowing that he'd already done it on a big stage. Seals loses his hat, finds a baseball, 2 down.
Yeah, and then as a team, what a great run Murray State made last year. And you're starting to see more mid-majors making a splash. They don't have the NIL money. They don't necessarily have the transfers that the SEC does, but they'll run through a brick wall for you. Saw UTSA roll through the Austin Regional last year. And there's some mid-majors that can go. Jacksonville State this year.
Here's Becerra. And McDevitt misses with a fastball up, 1-0. He wanted a challenge, and he started to reach for the top of his helmet. Then he grabbed the bill of the cap.
It's tough as a pitcher and a hitter. I mean, the catcher should be the one to do it because the pitcher and the hitter are too emotional. And I would have been challenged in just about every pitch.
Hold foul.
Watch the deke right here. And he laughed. You saw it.
Part of what makes the ABS Challenge work is the immediacy of it. Not just the timing of it, that it happens quickly, but the fact that you can't wait and get a signal from the dugout based on what they've seen on an iPad or what you may see from a different angle. It's only you, whether that you is the catcher, the pitcher, or the batter.
Yeah, and they said, you know, each challenge takes anywhere from 10 to 15 seconds. So, you know, in 4 challenges, you only lose a minute. How about that math?
That was really good.
Thank you. But it's not delaying the game that much.
Would you like to see it in Omaha if you don't have it during the regular season?
100%. Like I said, I mean, you know, I don't know how it makes the umpires feel. I'm sure they're okay with it. And they're great. I mean, umpires do such a fantastic job. But, you know, there's certain pitches in certain situations, you know, on outside corners and, you know, that I'd really like to know, you know, instead of just a human opinion. And they're much better now than they were when I played. But, you know, with the box and the, you know, you see the overturn rate right there in Major League Baseball this season. And the ABS system has added an inch on both sides. So the plate's 17 inches wide. They've added an inch on both. So 19 inches the pitcher has to work with.
So you get that buffer zone. This one shot into the gap in left center field. Headed to third is Randall. They're going to wave him home. It was finally picked up on the track. It's an RBI double for Tristan Becerra. And Ole Miss strikes with 2 down in the 5th.
Tristan Becerra and Judd Umark coming up right now accounted for 46% of the team's home runs. So this is where the power comes from. Tristan Becerra goes the other way. How many opposite field base hits, home runs have we seen in this game already?
Like all of them?
All of them. Tristan Becerra just pops in the left center gap. Hit it where it's pitched. And look at Randall moving around the bases. A little flop in the outfield, and he's all the way home. And Rebs out of run. They needed to answer. After a 5-run top for Missouri, Ole Miss comes right back and answers.
So here's Judd Umark. Back-to-back boppers for Ole Miss, and Udemark down the line off the leather of Patterson. Becerra will stop at third. Base hit for Udemark, his first hit of the game. Ole Miss has runners at the corners with 2 down.
Well, Chris Patterson saved a run just by keeping it near him. He has not made an error at third base all year. And that takes enough of a hop to get up over his glove, but he got a piece of it, and that keeps Becerra at third base.
View of Jeff Wright, third base umpire. The Missouri bullpen is barely populated, let alone seeing action at this point.
Drew Dickinson out on the mound. First year at Missouri. He was under Brian O'Connor at Virginia. Comes over to Missouri and has made a splash. And talking to Josh McDevitt now, they do have 2 outs. And with a 4-run lead, obviously wants to make sure he's under control for this last hitter.
And Missouri's bullpen was sensational in the Kentucky series. They pitched to a .66 ERA and allowed just 1 earned in 13 2/3. So Dickinson back to the dugout. And McDevitt trying to navigate the heart of this order, get off the field in the 5th, and dealing with Will Furniss, who is 0 for 2 in this game, but hitting .426 with runners in scoring position. A strikeout and a line out for Furniss. Ole Miss has never won an SEC tournament game after trailing by 4 or more. Their largest comeback was 3. And you have to go all the way back to 1977 for that comeback. It happened twice at tournament against both Florida and Vanderbilt.
Judd Udemark, first base, does have 10 bags. That's second on the team, but I don't think this is a situation where you want to get blown up at second base. Will Furniss would have to lead off the next inning, so you don't want to leave your home run guy at home. So I don't think he'll be stealing. And there's going to be a lot of off speed thrown to Will Furniss, which is why he's throwing over every now and then to keep Udemark close.
And catcher's going to challenge on a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. And it's in for a strike. Caught the edge. Good challenge by Cerna. Missouri remains undefeated. Outside. Didn't go. Runners on the corners, 2 down. And fastball inside, 3-1.
Now he's in a little bit of trouble. Will Furniss doesn't miss too many fastballs, and a little bit of back pitch situation right here if Josh McDevitt can land his slider in this situation and keep Will off balance.
Rebs down 4. Here's the 3-1. And it catches the outer third. Ole Miss has been a good come from behind team over the course of the season. When trailing after 6 innings, they have an SEC best 6 wins. So they'd love to get another one here, even though you don't need all of them. Payoff to Furness. Late defensive swing staying alive.
Two great pitches from Josh McDevitt here at the end. The changeup moving away, and then now a fastball. And Will Furness just barely gets a piece of it. And Will's got to be thinking that he doesn't know what's coming. And that's a tough spot to be in as a hitter.
What's your guess?
I think he goes back with that fastball away.
Seventh pitch of the at bat. They won't hold the runner at first. Udemark will be moving. And it's ball 4. So Ole Miss says the base is loaded with 2 down here in the 5th.
That's what you don't want to do with a 4-run lead, is put guys on base. And he got behind Will Furness, got himself in trouble, and had to battle his way out of it. Misses with the fastball away, and now Hayden Federico, the best hitter in SEC play for Ole Miss, is up.
Still no one throwing in the Missouri bullpen. A little surprising. Three home runs and 24 driven in for Federico this year. Rip to the right side and throw. Becerra will score. Udemark follows him home. It's a 2-run single from Hayden Federico. And Ole Miss has answered with a massive 5th of its own.
After the walk, if you're a hitter, you know that Josh McDevitt's going to try to get ahead. He doesn't want you as well. And Hayden Federico bushes the first pitch into right center field. 2 more runs across for Ole Miss. And this has been the issue for Missouri, just not able to throw a clean inning after they score 5 runs in the top of the 5th. Ole Miss answers with 3 so far, and they're not done yet.
And now it is total scramble mode for the Missouri bullpen. Pano is the 8th different batter of this inning for Ole Miss. Carousel is rolling. Who will grab a ball and start to warm? First pitch to Pano is up, and another challenge from Cerna, doing his best to try to help his pitcher out. And that one's a strike. Good job by Mateo Cerna.
Is that 5 for 5?
I think so.
For Missouri.
I think if you count the challenge on the stolen base. Mateo Cerna bringing true value behind the plate. Remember, you get 3 challenges over the course of 9 innings. You retain them if you're right. All 3 runs with 2 outs is framed for Ole Miss. I think at 2, back to the fastball. Shift is on for the Missouri infield. Pano down in the count. He has struck out twice swinging already today. The 0-2. And he rockets it deep to right field. Seals on the run. Won't get there. It hops over the fence for an automatic double. And Owen Pano with a 2-strike stroke that ends up in extra bases to score another run.
Bad break for Ole Miss. On a ground rule double, the runner at first has to go back to third base. He easily would have scored. I don't like that rule, but it is a rule. And ground rule double. Federico back to third, and Pano, after striking out twice, gets a hold of an 0-2 center cut fastball, and Rebs climb within 1.
And now finally somebody has picked up a ball in the Missouri bullpen and started to get loose. Seals was that close to ending the inning. Instead, a run scoring double for Pano. Juan Villarreal is getting loose from Mizzou. And Austin Foley fouls off the first. So Missouri sent 8 to the plate in the top of the 5th. Scored 5 thanks to a grand slam from Caden Peer. And now the Rebels have sent 9 to the plate here in the bottom of the 5th and already pushed 4 across.
Look at Missouri, 5 runs on 2 hits. A little more earned on the Ole Miss side.
Nothing in 2. Foley went opposite field for a home run, his 13th of the season back in the 2nd. Oh, 2 to Foley with 2 on. Home run and a strikeout for Foley today. Just off the plate with the fastball.
You mentioned Austin Foley going the other way with the home run. They're still working him on the outside part of the plate. I would think a fastball middle end would work, but you got to get it in there.
McDivitt's holding his velocity here late. 85th pitch of the game. Trying to go away again. That one is dipped just a hair. 2-2. Missouri led 7-2 coming into this frame. And Cerna's going to go back to the ABS challenge. And got another one. And that gets Mizzou off the field.
Cerna might be the MVP of this game. They've won 5 challenges on the ABS system, 5 in a row. And this ball looked high out of the hand of Josh McDevitt, but lands in the zone. What a great challenge. And gets Missouri off the field. They do give up 4 runs, but they're still ahead by 1.
Reacting to the wins on the ABS challenges so far today. They have found momentum thanks to replay.
They got more excited about that than they did the Caden Pierre Grand Slam. And they've been perfect today on the challenge system. First game, first day, that challenge system's in use, and Missouri are experts already.
Pierre Seals leads off the 6th for Missouri. 7 runs today for the Tigers. Second most for Mizzou in their brief SEC tournament history. They scored 12 in one of their 2 wins. That came in 17 against A&M. As many games have been played here over the years, this is only the 5th time in SEC tournament history that both teams have scored 4+ runs in the same inning. That 5th was loaded. Seals 1 for 2 today. Then he fouls one back.
Landon Waters has done a nice job of picking up the pieces after J.P. Robertson had walked 3. He did give up the grand slam, the first hitter he faced, Caden Pierre, but since then been pretty accurate with the fastball, dropping that slider in there for strikes, getting ahead of hitters.
One and 2 to Seals. And a swing and a miss. If you take a look at the back of the mound, it looks like somebody's playing cornhole. There are 4 rosin bags out there, and they just threw the 5th back over to the Missouri dugout. Why do we need 4?
Sometimes they get stale and no powder's coming out of it. That'd be my guess, but yeah, 4 of them.
I mean, it's somebody's turn on the other side of cornhole, right? Isn't that what that means?
Yeah, let's play.
Second strikeout for Landon Waters, who entered after the bases were loaded and gave up the grand slam to Pierre. Now back to the top of the order, and Jace Woida. There was a great article in the Columbia Missourian about Jace Woida this week, written by Amber Winkler. And it talked about his apartment in Columbia. There are only 3 seats at the dinner table, 2 chairs and 1 ottoman. There used to be another chair, but Garrett Goldbeck, his teammate who's injured right now, broke the chair when he lost at Monopoly. So that's what happens in a college apartment. 1 and 2 now.
I can see that being frustrating. Monopoly's what, like a 10-hour game?
It can be.
You sit there for 9.5 hours and somebody lands on your you land on somebody's property on Boardwalk.
I've never played any
yes.
board game for 9 hours. Why does it take you so long?
I'm pretty methodical with my money.
Woida 0 for 3, and he sends it high to left field. Pasella trying to get full steam at the wall. He runs out of room. Opposite field home run for Jace Woida, his 13th bomb of the season, and Missouri continues one of its best offensive games of the season.
Yet another answer after a half inning by the other team, a big half inning, and just a slider away. Woita goes down in the opposite direction. How many is that? 4 home runs the other way. And he clobbers it out to left field, and Missouri needed that. After a 4-run bottom of the 5th for Ole Miss, and you start to feel kind of down on yourself, and then a strikeout by the 9-0 Seals. Jace Woita at a leadoff spot gives them some life.
And here's Durnin. His is the only home run today that went to the pole side. 405 feet in the 3rd inning. He's sitting 100 points higher against righties and lefties this year, and Durnin watches that one miss upstairs. Former Shocker from Wichita State. In-state product, grew up just south of Missouri, a couple hours. Lynn Creek, Missouri in the Ozarks. By the way, it's the 2nd Lynn Creek. 3-0. The original Lynn Creek was flooded It's underwater after they dammed the Osage River and built Bagnell Dam. So if you've ever been down to the Ozarks and you went to Osage Beach, maybe you got an airbrush t-shirts and taffy, rode the go-karts, went to Hillbilly Town, any of that, you drove over the top or you were in a boat over the top of Old Lynn Creek.
I wouldn't have known that. Thanks.
To Durnan, you've spent some time in the Show Me State. You spent a lot of time on I-70 going east to St. Louis, west to Kansas City, sometimes on the same trip.
A lot of time on accident, yeah. I've watched Ozark. Haven't been to the Ozarks too much.
I think you'd fit in perfectly in Party Cove.
There you go.
Mike Bianco has seen enough. Couple of home runs allowed by Landon Waters, and he'll bullpen with one saying in a high-scoring affair to get this SEC tournament started. Missouri 1 run off of its SEC season high. After the 3rd inning on 3 home runs. In the 5th, Mizzou played at 5. Ole Miss answered with 4, and Missouri with a 3 home run game already. Just the 5th SEC tournament with 4+ by both.
Landon Koenig making his 17th appearance. Big kid, 6'6", 245, 97-98 on the fastball. 265 against left-handed hitters, 386 right-handers, 120 points better against the next 2 hitters he's going to face, both left-handers. It's because he's got a nasty little changeup. 30 strikeouts in only the 20 innings. Very accurate and only 7 walks.
So we go Landon to Landon. Last time you saw back-to-back Landons.
Little House on the Prairie.
Michael Landon.
That's it.
When Little House on the Prairie went into Empire Strikes Back, and it went from Michael Landon to Landon Calrissian.
That's it.
We have back-to-back Landons.
That's so good.
Landon to Blaze. Blaze Ward 0 for 2 with a walk. Landon Waters 1 inning, 2 hits, 2 runs. And Ward pops it up to shallow left. Pasella 2 down.
Well, a lot like when you pinch hit, they tell you to be aggressive, come in there, and that's the same out of the pen. And then Koenig comes in there firing strikes. First pitch, gets 1 out, gets the 2nd out of the inning. And that's what Ole Miss needs right now, down by 2. A little accuracy, and Koenig has it.
Well, Mateo Cerna has shown his value in this game with not just 2 hits, but a number of successful ABS challenges. You got the, how many has he won? You were supposed to keep track of that. Did you not?
How many has who won?
Cerna. Runner goes and it's fouled off.
Oh, it's 5.
He's 5 for 5.
So 5 for 5, and then the challenge is second base. So I think they've won 6 in a row as a team.
Gosh, you're going to run out of fingers. You are all over. Did you ever feel that you had an umpire? You retain the challenges if you win them, so it's still 3 for Mizzou. Ole Miss has lost 1 challenge. Did it ever got personal, and that umpire expanded the zone because of either something you did or history, whatever it might have been, or could have worked in your favor? You could have done the same thing to the pitcher.
You always knew the umpires in their zones, right? So John Hirschbeck is who I think about when you say that, and he always called about it felt like a foot off the plate, but it was definitely going to be on the outside corner. And these guys were good enough to hit that spot, and so when you got called on that pitch, you knew it was a ball.
But
there was no you know, checks and balances on that deal.
True, but to my point, that wasn't personal. That was just his zone, right?
Oh.
It wasn't like he got frustrated with you and said, "All right, Walker, I'm going to bring you up."
Oh, you're asking if they were mad at me about that? I don't think I make anybody mad, so I don't
Never
think
in your
that's the
life.
case. Never. I don't have any enemies that I know of. But no, it never. To me, the umpires were always professional. Like I don't.
Right.
I take that back. The old umpires before the strike, and they gave their resignations. You know, Ken Kaiser, those type of guys. I was told in Texas, say don't say anything to Ken Kaiser because he's going to call a ridiculous ball a strike just to see how you react. And if you react, you'll never live it down for the rest of your career. And, you know, the umpires in the big leagues are
You're
like
a rookie that
Supreme
year?
Court. I was a rookie.
Yeah.
And they're like the Supreme Court. They're never going anywhere. So I knew that. And I go up there, and Ken Hill, pitcher for Texas, threw 4 fastballs right on the outside corner, and Ken Kaiser called them all balls. And I walked, and I'm like, well, that's not true what they said. And so I didn't have to say anything. But that was definitely true, to your point, with the old umpires.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would challenge you for sure.
And we're talking big league umpires, not at the college ranks. So you've never made anybody mad, huh?
No, I'm sure I have.
You think you're perfect?
You think you're perfect? Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
I can't imagine anyone being mad at you. Mateo Cerna at the plate for Missouri, and he fouls one back. So Cerna's gaining new respect from his pitchers by helping him out.
Yeah, and at this point, it's obvious that Kirk Jackson has told the team that Mateo Cerna is really the only guy, you know, defensively between the pitcher and him.
Yeah.
Because you have to be involved in the play to actually call the challenge. That Cerna is the only one that can do that.
And he gets rung up to close the 6th, but not before Jace Woida says, I may only have 2 chairs and an ottoman, but now I've got 13 home runs.
And he put a blast into this one. Missouri needed this in the worst way, the bottom of the 5th went. Jace Woita the opposite direction. Mizzou up by 2.
The real fun just getting started.
Run straight for the breakaway.
The celebration is on. SEC teams that have never won a national championship, and Missouri had a handful of
runs in Omaha and won it all in 1954. Here's a look at that fantastic squad. How about those for throwbacks? And one of the pitchers on that squad is Missouri basketball coach Norm Stewart. Tigers were also World Series runner-up in 52, 58, and 64. They've been to Omaha 6 times. And there's Norm, Missouri basketball coach from 67 to 99. Pride of Shelbyville, Missouri. Think about the dominance this league has had, and if you even include Augie's 2 titles at Texas right before they came to the SEC, or a few years before they came to the SEC. And now there's a handful of teams on the outside looking in, right? Arkansas has been there 7 times, hasn't won it. Auburn and Alabama, national championship caliber squads this year. Kentucky went for the first time a few years ago, has never won it. Otherwise, everybody in this league has a national championship on the diamond.
There's only been
A&M,
2.
sorry, I forgot
A&M. There's only been 2 teams in this century that have swept through the regular season as champion, the tournament, and then the national championship. That shows you the parity in this league and in this country. And some of the last 8 national championships have come out of the SEC by 6 different teams. And you're right. I think this year you're going to see one of those, the Alabama, the Auburn. Georgia, of course, looks like the front runner for that deal. But, you know, what a year Georgia's had.
7 titles over the last 10 College World Series. The rest of Division I only has 3 and only has a hair over half of the finals appearances. Glad you brought up Georgia. They won the regular season with a weekend to spare. And I feel like they're the most, probably the least talked about regular season champs in years.
And ran into Auburn last weekend with nothing to prove and beat them 2 out of 3. And Auburn's legit this year. So it just shows a lot about, you know, Wes Johnson in his 3rd year and what he's done. They've won at least 43 games in all 3 years now that Wes Johnson has been there. And what an impact he's made on that program.
Not only won 2 out of 3 to Auburn, but I was most impressed with the Game 1 victory. That was a 2-1 win on a pair of solo home runs. And the pitching was just fantastic between Joey Volchko and Matt Scott.
Well, I think then that's what separates Georgia from their teams in the past. They've been a top 8 national seed 4 out of the last 8 years and have only got out of the regional once. And so the difference this year, I think, is Joey Volchko at the top. Dylan Big and Matt Scott, the 2 transfers from Stanford, and of course Caden Aoki. They've got a pitching staff this year. The numbers are similar to last year, but in terms of frontline starting, I think Georgia's in position to make a run.
Yes, Jacob, get it! Yes!
Jacob got it. Great job. Camera work and audio. 0-1 to Braden Randall. And Randall yanks it foul. By the way, one kid was saying, yes, Jacob, get it. And I wonder if that's like a NASCAR race where you draft off your teammate and it's like 2-on-1 out there, or are they all buddies? Because somebody's going to get it. Two out of 3 have one.
Can you draft off a kid that's 3 feet tall?
Yeah, how do I get in there? Winner, this one gets Mississippi State to start action tomorrow. Breaking ball, didn't commit. 1-2 now to Randall.
Yeah, Mississippi State gets Ryan McPherson back. Although he hadn't pitched great in his last 2, he's building back up. And Mississippi State's another one of those teams that, man, I mean, you could point to 6 or 7 in the league that you could legitimately see winning the national championship.
Hey, we got another challenge from Mateo Cerna.
Putting his streak on the line.
Yeah, still got 3 to spare. Everybody on the field watching the scoreboards, and Cerna got another one right.
That's incredible. What a job that Mateo Cerna has done behind the plate. Low in the zone. Cerna lifts it up and then challenges it and gets it overturned.
So you got him 6 for 6, right?
That's what I've got.
There's Dom Decker, solo home run in the first for Decker. Cerna's going back to it. He's feeling himself. He's on a heater now. This is a heat check for Mateo Cerna with ABS challenge. And he misses for the first time. Well, nobody's perfect. We can't all be Todd Walker. Missed by 0.8 of an inch.
How do you think Jason Bradley's feeling behind home plate with Mateo Serna constantly challenging and getting them all right? And Jason Bradley got that one right. Well done.
Top spin, fly ball right center field. Peel lays out, knocks it forward, but can't get the glove underneath it. Decker's got another extra base hit. 2-out double for Dom Decker.
Nice try by Caden Pierre, who usually comes up with those balls. This one was kind of flat and diving straight down. And with 2 outs, you're more likely to make a dive, even if you can't make the play. With less than 2 outs, you don't want to give him extra bases, but Caden Pierre does all he can do and just barely misses it. Does keep it in front of him and limits the damage. That'll be it for Josh McDevitt today.
98 pitches for McDevitt. Came start after he went 3 in the series against Texas. And McDevitt leaves in line for the win with Missouri up 8-6. And the Tigers go to the bullpen for the first time. Nick Mingione and his son in the building as Kentucky looks for a must win against Vandy in game 2. Back in a moment. Despite some struggles in the 5th inning, and he struck out a pair in the 6th, but that fastball was working all afternoon.
Yeah,
all morning
really
for
good. Gave up the leadoff home run to Dom Decker, then settled down. Home run to Austin Foley. Outside of that, 4 innings, pretty much shut down baseball until the 5th happened. And Josh McDevitt gave it all he could do today. 8 strikeouts on the day, right up under 100 pitches.
In a high-scoring game 1 of this SEC tournament, Juan Villarreal will take over. 6'6" lefty from Panama City, Panama, making his 20th appearance of the season. 2-2. His ERA at 4.5. He has a strikeout per inning pitched in 26 innings of work this season for Mizzou.
The low 90s fastball equally as good against the left-handed hitters and the right-handed hitters, about 200 on both. And we'll drop the changeup on the right-handers, more slider action to the left-handed hitters. Juan Villarreal asking to come in and hold a 2-run lead.
Right fielder, number 32, Tristan Becerra.
And he'll face at least one 20 home run hitter in Becerra with another Udemark waiting on deck. Becerra doubled home a run in the 5th inning with 2 outs. All of those runs for Ole Miss, all 4 of them came with 2 down in the 5th. Last time out for Villarreal, he threw 30 pitches in an inning and 2/3 and allowed 4 earned 3 days ago at Texas. Becerra was hit by a pitch his first time up, and this one fouled off. swing and a miss to take care of Becerra and get Missouri out of the 6th. Decker with a double. He's stranded. We've got 6 complete. 8-6 Mizzou. Led in 5 of its last 6 SEC tournament games, but has lost all of them. So the Tigers trying to reverse that trend with an 8-6 lead as we go to the 7th inning. And in conjunction with that, Ole Miss has an SEC best 6 wins on the year when trailing after 6 innings of play. Donovan Jordan will lead off for Mizzou. Did you see Mizzou's Como unis earlier this season?
No, I think I missed that.
First pitch pulled into left field. And a base hit for Donovan Jordan.
Donovan Jordan didn't miss that pitch. Missed a first pitch from Landon Koenig, and he turns on it. Missouri's banged out 8 hits today. And right off the end of the bat into left field for Donovan Jordan, leadoff base hit.
Yeah, they had Carl Edwards throw out the first pitch. He was known for driving the number 99 Ford, and now the number 88 Jordan gets aboard. And here's Pierre, and the bunt is popped up. Furness handles that with ease. Grand slam and a bunt attempt the same game.
Yeah, we've seen that twice today where the hitter tries to trick everybody by being too late with getting squared around on that bunt. I still think, you know, if you got the third baseman back and you're in a position defensively where you feel like you can bunt for a base hit, square around a little early, just put it where you need to put it. And I always told the young kids, you know, bunt it perfect or foul. So don't put it in the air and don't put it back to the pitcher. And Caden Pierre tried to trick too many people, popped it up.
In for a strike to George. Missed with 97. 1 ball, 1 strike. Koenig went an inning and a third against Texas A&M. That was his last time out. That was 10 days ago. He didn't pitch in the series last week. And through pitches, he's sitting at 11 pitches right now. Relieved Landon Waters as George fouls one off.
Interesting that Caden Pierre would try to bunt. To me, they got 9 outs left. It doesn't feel like a game that's going to be squeezed here at the end. There's still going to be a lot of runs scored. He just hit a grand slam, and it feels like he did that on his own. Again, it was a sacrifice situation, but I really believe he was trying to bunt for a base hit.
Fought off and fouled off.
That is some lightning bat speed from Jamal George just to get on top of that and get a piece of it. And he's late on it, so you wouldn't want to throw any off speed. Keep coming with the fastball.
And so it goes to the breaking ball for strike 3 looking on George.
But to Jamal George, that probably looked like that same elevated fastball, and he convinced himself after swinging at a few balls above the zone that I'm not going to swing at it. When you tell yourself as a hitter to be a little more selective, that's when you get froze up. And Layden Koenig just dropped the slider in there for strike 3. Donovan Jordan over there 3 for 4 on stolen bases, so it's not a huge threat. I think this would be a situation where they might try to steal it. They didn't get the bunt down, and so now they're trying to get to second base to make up for that play. Chris Patterson, you're okay with leading off the next inning, so it'd be a good time to take that risk right now to try to steal the bag.
Foley's caught 10 of 48 on the year. Not going upstairs. Did he come a little bit more over the top that time than he had been?
Yeah, big tilt on that one, straight down. And now he's in a position where he has to throw the fastball in there. And it is the 8th spot, Chris Patterson, but this is a position that hitters love.
And he misses with the fastball.
Yeah, that's.
Did you give him the green light here?
With 2 outs up, probably not, because that pushes the runner into scoring position if you walk him. You had a guy out second in scoring position or second and third, absolutely, with 2 outs. That's the only time I really like the green light.
Then he takes a strike, 3-1.
Because the truth is, the 3-0 is going to be the same as the 3-1. It should be.
Okay.
And so right here, the 3-1 should also be a fastball. Now you've seen 4 pitches, and you've got it timed up.
See if he gets a fastball. He does, and he waves at it, full count. They'll let him walk to second, and the pitch is fouled off to right field.
Yeah, I don't know. If you're Landon Koenig, I don't know if you're messing around with any other pitch. You certainly don't want to walk him with some off speed that you haven't thrown in the last 4 or 5 pitches. And you're in the 8 spot, Chris Patterson, who's late on these fastballs.
Does Patterson cheat, try to catch
you
up?
You have to. I would think that's part of hitting. Yeah, just getting the timing right. And by doing that, you got to get the barrel out a little earlier.
Payoff again. Grounded to the left side. Smothered stop, off balance throw is late and wide. And he put the 96-mile-an-hour fastball in play for a hit.
Well, Koenig puts it low enough that it gives Patterson split second longer to be able to react, and he throws it low and in. Able to put it in play. Pano not able to get the handle on it. And now they do have the runner in scoring position with 2 outs. The 9 spot, Pierre Seals, base hit back in the 3rd, but struck out his last time up.
A base hit in the 3rd. He came around to score on the Cam Durham. We're seeing nothing but heat now from Landon Koenig. Nothing in 2. You like that idea?
I don't like it because when I tried that one time, Skip Bertman pulled me in the back room, and that's about as big of a how would I say this?
Tongue lashing?
Tongue lashing as I've ever gotten. 2 outs, you got a runner in scoring position. They want you to drive that run in. And I don't know if you'd call it selfish, but that's just like trying to bunt for a base hit when the infield's back. And you know if you just put it down, you will get the base hit, but it doesn't do any damage.
98 just off the plate. By the way, with the buffer zone, that might be a pitch east and west that's worth challenging this week, especially with the width of the baseball. Talking with some coaches at practices yesterday, they said I think that's one that not going to look like a B. And he offered a breaking ball, and the strikeout ends the opportunity for Missouri as the Tigers strand 2. Time to stretch. 8-6 Missouri.
In a 2-2 ball game, Missouri sent 8 hitters to the plate in the top of the 5th and capped off with Caden Pierre. Goes the opposite direction for a grand slam. Ole Miss would answer in the bottom of the inning and a double by Tristan Becerra into the gap. And 4 runs later, Ole Miss is back in this baseball game. 8 runs and 9 hits for Missouri. 6 runs, 8 hits for Ole Miss. Big 5th inning, 9 runs total between the 2 teams. And in an 8-6 ball game right now.
Tournament high in an inning for Missouri with the 5-run 5th, looking for their first win in Hoover since 2017. Here's Judd Utermark. Fielder's choice, a walk and a single for Utermark, who's tied for third in the league with 20 home runs. Both teams have 2 challenges, ABS challenges remaining, one and more. Shift is on. They've got Blaze Ward over on the left side of the infield. And Villarreal misses inside, 2-1.
Ole Miss has used the ABS once, and Missouri 7 times. Judd Utermark, back-to-back 20 home run seasons. We talked about him being the all-time Ole Miss home run leader with 49 career. Broke a 1987 record.
Coming out of Charlotte Christian, which has produced its share of superstars, including Steph Curry and his brother Seth. Sword and didn't go. Cerna started it around the infield, and the first base umpire Kevin Sweeney says he didn't commit to it.
That was close. See it from the side here. Tough one.
Here's the payoff. Inside ball 4. You know, they're going to introduce a challenge system for check swings in the minors that will be 100% automated, just like ABS.
Yeah, with an imaginary line there down the middle. And at the very least, Judd Utermark hit that line. And we'll see if that comes back. Leadoff walk.
Tying run at the plate here in the bottom of the 7th. It's Will Furness. Patterson playing it on the grass on the left side of the infield. And here's another challenge by Cerna. He has nailed 6 out of 7. The Missouri catcher has been the ABS MVP, making 7 out of 8.
That's amazing. Without any real history on being that stuff, Mateo Cerna has been on point.
Check swing didn't go. You know, one thing I haven't heard discussed at the major league level is the impact. I may be going too deep into the couch here, but the impact psychologically it has on a hitter that thinks he's got a 1-0 count, and then it flips to 0-1 after watching the video board.
It definitely changes the pitch sequences.
No doubt.
And it makes you start to question, you know, what the actual zone is. But yeah, it's a big deal. And for them to challenge early, you know, I would think it'd be more with scoring positions or 2 out, big strikeouts, that type of thing. But, you know, Mateo Cerna's going after it because he's always right. Retain the challenge.
Utermark 11 for 12 now on the bases this year. Furness's average dips 110 points against lefties versus righties. Ahead in the count, 2-1. And another throw over.
Yeah, Judd Utermark can run. 11 and 12 stolen bases. Already has 1 in this game. That's second on the team to Dom Decker, the leadoff hitter. And they got to pay attention to him for sure with no outs. I always thought for the pitcher it's setting up the slider too. You throw off enough times, you get the runner a little closer to the plate.
Furness lifts it to right field and deep. Seals on the run at the track pier, and he makes the catch. Utermark will return to first. 1 down. We've seen the immediate impact the first day of ABS in play in college baseball, and Mateo Cerna is a wizard behind the plate.
Bottom of the zone, top of the zone. Some of these pitches look high, look above the belt, but Cerna's got it dialed in. That ball was called low. That's a strike.
Cerna has won 6 of 7 challenges. Tigers also have a win with one of their hitters. Here's Hayden Federico. It's a jump off the mound by Villarreal.
Yeah, so again, you're trying to steal on the off speed, and you're not necessarily going to read a left-handed pitcher. Usually just go first move, take all the read out of it. But him picking off a lot, number one, is to keep Utermark closer to the bag, but also to set up a slider.
How does it set up the slider?
Well, because if you got the runner closer to the bag, you're more likely to throw a pitch that gives him more time to steal. And so I always thought, you know, if they're picking off 3 or 4 times, it is to show you they're paying attention, but also set up some sort of off speed.
And this ball's lifted deep left field. It is gone! Hayden Federico with a 2-run home run, and we are locked at 8 in the 7th. Four ribbies for Federico today.
Juan Villarreal paying a little too much attention to Judd Utermark at first base. Just flips a slider right down. Oh, that's a changeup right down the middle. And Hayden Federico gets the barrel out on it and rips it into left field. Ties this game up at 8.
And a breaking ball stays inside. No pain for Pano. He'll take first and be happy to do so.
Yeah, a little visibly shaken by Juan Villarreal after giving up the game-tying home run. Now tries to land a slider and just misses badly.
And that'll be the end of the line for Villarreal. Missouri had action in the bullpen. We'll see who comes out the gate. Villarreal gives him 2/3 of an inning, and despite showing promise, surrenders 2 runs in that frame with a walk and a hit batter. We'll tell you about the new Missouri reliever, Eli Skidmore, when we return. Meanwhile, Federico's feeling the power of the dark side. Ole Miss has stormed its way back in this game. What a game, back and forth between Missouri and Ole Miss. The Tigers have lost 6 consecutive SEC tournament games. They have had the lead in 5 of their last 6 and dropped them all. So the 16 seed Missouri Tigers had a 7-2 lead going into the bottom of the 5th inning. That has gone by the wayside. Here's O'Fallon's Eli Skidmore, freshman right-hander. 2-0, 4.87 ERA. He's thrown 24 innings on the season and has struck out 28.
Another young kid they're high on, Eli Skidmore, making his 20th appearance. 90 to 93 on the fastball. 120 points better against left-handed hitters than he is right-handers. Going to have to face Austin Foley here first, but then he gets 4 left-handers in a row. 241 against the right-handers. And predominantly changeups to left-handers is his off-speed, and then the slider more than the fastball to right-handed hitters. Almost 50% sliders, 46% fastballs.
So he'll start with Foley, who homered in the second inning. Foley is 1 for 3. 9 home runs over the last 14 games now for Austin Foley. Former Kentucky Wildcat. His former team takes the field as soon as we finish here with game 1. Foley trying to get back on the horse. He had a pitiful April, hitches 6. But he's swinging a bat better lately. Against Alabama last weekend, 5 for 12 with a home run. Weekend prior against A&M, 4 for 10 with a home run. Another challenge, and it's a strike. You know, I don't want the umpires to look bad, and we know in the booth how hard a job in the plate, but I have noticed what big league games and reinforced here today that when it's outside of the zone, we see the distance by which it's outside, right? Could be a half an inch, could be 2 inches. We don't see how far inside it is when it is a strike. Skidmore takes care of Foley. That would probably be piling it on.
Well, and what you just saw right there was as far out as it could possibly be and still be a strike. And like we mentioned, Cerna has a perfect feel for the strike zone, and he's been right. 8 out of 9 today. Austin Foley, to your question, changed a 1-0 count to an 0-1, and he goes down on 3 pitches.
Here's Daniel Pasella, transfer from Illinois State. Ole Miss has rotated through a handful of left fielders over the course of the season, and against a right-handed starter, they went with the left. In fact, from the left side in this Ole Miss lineup today, including the switch-hitting Federico. And bolstered by the 2 lefties at the bottom of the lineup, and Pasella and Randall DHing today. Skidmore tried to go back door. 2-0. And now 3-0. Wind had been a crosswind going right to left. tournament on the SEC Network is presented by Regions Bank, the official bank of the SEC. Game 1 of 15 over 6 days to crown a champion. Up next, Vandy and Kentucky. Night session features Tennessee and South Carolina, and then Oklahoma and LSU. State, Florida will be the opponents for the winners of the 2 day sessions today. Here's Jace Woyda. Solo home run last time up. He is 1 for 4 in this one. Former Gamecock. Pitches inside, 1-0. Decided he was going to transfer from South Carolina. He had a long drive from Columbia, South Carolina to Lincoln, Nebraska to go home after that last season, and they decided while driving down I-70 to get off in Como and check out Mizzou, and that ended up being his new home. They knew which direction they were going on I-70, as opposed to Todd Walker, who worked a Missouri game a few years ago and was so dialed into the movie he was watching while driving his convertible that he went the wrong direction.
A convertible turbo bug. And
gosh, that's a sexy car.
I looked at the directions and it said jump on the interstate and head out. And so once I hit the interstate, put on Game of Thrones. And
Woyda sends this one into center.
And headed to St. Louis, right?
Or so you thought. You thought you were going to St. Louis.
Headed to St. Louis, so I thought. And so an hour down the road, 4-lane goes to a 2-lane. And I'm thinking this is looking a lot more like Iowa or Idaho. And I thought, and I looked at the thing, and you couldn't go diagonal from where I was at north to go east. And so I had to backtrack all the way around, you know, and so nightmarish. Pay attention to the road. Pay attention to the road.
Idaho, you would have been way lost.
So what is it, Iowa?
Iowa's north.
I'm not, yeah.
Yeah. You know, our friend Ben McDonald travels, and I found this out when we were in Starkville. In the back seat of his truck, he travels with a Rand McNally Atlas. It was probably published in 1982. I'm sure he'd be happy to loan that to you.
Well, here's the deal. I could have paid attention to the directions, but when I left the hotel, I thought that it would just jump the interstate and go, and that's what I thought I saw. I didn't realize that once you get on the first interstate, you take the right turn to go east, and I missed that turn. And then
okay.
I kept going north.
I had this story wrong the whole time. I thought you were headed towards Kansas City. You may have thought you were actually headed towards Iowa. You were going up Highway 63.
Whatever highway that was, I hit it. Yeah. And then, you know, and then I had a chance to make my flight in St. Louis, so I'm rushing back, and a lot of bad stuff happened after that.
Cam Durnan with the single with 1 down. Durnan now 2 for 2. Yeah, you probably ended up in Macon, Missouri.
Hey, the show is great, though.
Yeah, was that the Red Wedding?
The Red Wedding, it might have been, because I was locked in. I mean, like never before.
You know, well, the Highway Patrol probably not happy that you were watching them.
Well, the good news is there wasn't anybody around me either, so I'm sure I was swerving a little bit.
If you would have gone straight south on 63, you may have ended up in Maumelle, Arkansas, Blaze Ward's hometown. Would have taken you a little while. SEC Inside grants you behind-the-scenes access with a look at this tournament next Tuesday, 7 Eastern, on SEC Network and the ESPN app. Just glad you made it.
That was one story on a trip to Como.
And?
Well, another time I put my bag on a plane from Charlotte directly there, but I was talked in, and then once I got my bag through, they canceled the flight directly in, and so there was a town not too far, well, 3 hours away, and so I was talked into going there the night before. So I fly in there, got there around 5. My bag is supposed to show up on the next flight at 6, so I go to a steakhouse, go to the airport, find out the bag did not make the flight. The next one's midnight, so I go back at midnight.
After you'd been at the steakhouse.
I sat there the whole night, go back, get my bag, then I think I'm just going to drive tonight, 3 hours down the road, and make it. Well,
do you have any idea what town you were in when this occurred?
Off the top of my head, I don't know, but it was a smaller town that
How
we
about,
had flown into.
would Springfield, Missouri.
Let's go with that. So
okay.
Springfield, is that 3 hours away from Columbia?
Give or take.
Okay, there you go. So I decided I'm gonna drive down the road. I thought the game was at 3 o'clock the next day, and long story short, I don't make it an hour, and I'm like I'm tired. I pull over, get in the hotel. Next morning, it's about, I don't know, I'd slept in 11 o'clock. I thought the game was at 3, and the producer, it turns out it's like a noon game. So I'm an hour late going down the road, and it was still ice on the ground in April, you know. So I'm doing the bobsled, getting over to Como. Finally make it. That's horror story number 2 of my trip.
The great Bob Kessling, longtime radio voice, a Big Orange of the Volunteers, used to have a broadcasting camp, and he would start with this trivia question. There's only 2 things you need to know. You absolutely have to know to be a broadcaster. And the kids would guess stats and leaders and mascots and hometowns and all this. And no, the answers are 2. Where is the game and what time does it start? Otherwise, it doesn't matter how much you know.
I knew one of the 2.
You knew where it was.
I knew where
Didn't
it was.
know when it was.
Didn't know when it was. And he said, you know, 2 hours from game time, this is what it looks like. And I'm like, 2 hours from game time? Isn't it at 3? He goes, nah, it's at noon. And so, man, I'm doing 90 down the interstate, like, you know, spinning wheels trying to get there.
Were you ever late to a game as a player?
No, I didn't do that.
Ball in his strike to Blaze Ward. And another throw over to chase Dernan back. Dernan's got one bag already today and one pickoff.
Although I was afraid I might. Opening day for Colorado, I'm 30 minutes down the road in Castle Rock, and I'm taking the back interstate.
How could you be late to opening day?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I left 4 hours early, whatever it is, but I got stuck in standstill traffic trying to get into downtown Denver. And there was no turning around, and there was no obviously going forward, so I was just stuck and thought that I might be late. But it ended up opening up.
David DeLucci will be on set later today. He was late to a Diamondbacks game. He was just laying out by the pool when he was playing for Arizona. Thought it was a night game. It was a day game.
Isn't that what you do when you're with the Diamondbacks out in Arizona, lay out by the pool? Casual.
DeLucci, casual. Ward has a walk and a run scored today. I wasn't used to working the day side. It's been a couple of years since I've had to get up early here at this tournament. And believe you me, when I set a hotel alarm clock for the first time in maybe a decade, I got like 5 phone alarms set plus the timer. Yeah. There's DeLucci, like still playing shape. And he's talking about the time he was late to the game. Jared Mitchell,
Dari's locked in. I had that thought as well.
By the way, God bless everyone that works at hotels, but the calling down to the front desk and asking for a wake-up call just doesn't work like it used to.
No, and that's I remember those days for sure. There's a ball fouled off. Ouch.
How do you foul it off your belt buckle?
Well, if the pitch is high enough, obviously you get way out in front. I mean, that's cheating with the front side. Hits his right hip. And that stuff, that's why you see the shin guard. I mean, there is no worse pain. Well, I'm sure there is, but in baseball, one of the worst pains is fouling that right-handed slider as a left-handed hitter off your shin.
Well, that wasn't the shin.
No, that wasn't. I'm just saying when you foul a ball off of your body.
Anatomy and geography are not your strengths today.
Although I would argue if it was a little, more to the right, it would have been really painful. But
took the pleats right out of his pants.
But the
runner goes. Swinging a ball to the right side under the glove of Furness. Dernan on his way to third. They'll stop him there. And it misplayed by the right fielder Becerra. And now Dernan scrambles home. And Missouri claims the lead in the top of the 8th. As Tristan Becerra lost his focus and commits just his 2nd error of the season.
Well, Will Furness holding the runner on was in, and that ball gets ripped into right field, and Becerra can't get the handle on it. Missouri's out hit Ole Miss by 2. 11 hits for Missouri, 2 in this inning, and they push another run across, go up by 1.
Watch Becerra just overstepped it. And we got a situation at second base with Blaze Ward, who's been met by the Missouri athletic trainer And Carrick Jackson's going to come out and check on him, along with Jose Carballo, the third base coach. What happened with Ward going into second?
Dirt in the eye?
Or it could be related to the ball that he fouled off of his groin. He's got a little hitch in his giddy up.
Yeah, but it looks like he's kind of, his face like blinking. I don't know.
You'd think they'd be able to flush that out. Yeah, I think you're right. Well, they got a pitching change, and so we'll figure out what's happening with Ward as Koenig exits. Bullpen to its closer, Walker Hooks. 7 saves on the season for the big lefty out of Brandon, Mississippi. 3-1 with a 2.12 ERA. He can give him some length. That's not what is needed here today. But with Ole Miss trailing by 1, trying to keep it close and get Hooks some work on this Tuesday morning.
Yeah, Ole Miss has 6 outs to go, and Walker Hooks comes in the game. He's their dude at the end. 3-1 on the year, 90-93 with the fastball, sub 200 lefties and righties, 173 against for right-handers. Fastball, slider, change, and he's in command of all 3.
Here's Ward. After his base hit, he is staying in the game and going back. No, he's not. He's coming out of the game. Remember, he fouled the ball off of his groin, and he turned it up to go to second. Well, I haven't seen it.
I didn't see anything either.
Sam Parker is the pinch runner. Or Isaiah Frost.
He looked fine running right there. It didn't look like the groin. In fact, if anything, it would stretch it out a little bit. I don't know.
So here's Mateo Serna. Here's Serna, 2 for 4 with a pop-up and a strikeout. So Isaiah Frost into pinch run for Blaze Ward. Missouri will have a new second baseman when we go to the bottom of the 8th. Becetta's error is what allowed Durnin to score. Dumper down the right side. That's going to get in for another hit. Frost will come home to score with no throw from Becetta, and Missouri tallies another here in the 8th. That's the second bloop single down the right field line for Missouri in this game. And Serna's got both of them for a ribby.
I was just going to say, Mateo Serna did the exact same thing back in the 5th. And again, here in the 8th, RBI single And the right field line extends the lead for Missouri. And
I mean, that's almost a carbon copy.
Almost identical off the end of the bat. Dumps it into right field. 10 runs across for Missouri. It's a pretty good offensive output for a team that's 14th in the league offensively.
Yeah, Missouri came in averaging 6.2 runs per game. Dead last in the SEC in home runs. 15th in on base, 15th in slugging. 1-0 to Jordan will wait. It's the second most runs in an SEC tournament game for Missouri. They were held to 6 or fewer in their other 11 games in Hoover. So this is their 13th. And on the season high in runs versus a conference opponent. It pushed 12 across against A&M back in 17.
3 base hits in a row, and there's no way he's bunting right here. Just a show.
And Jordan sends a sinking line drive into right field. Bacetta's been busy this inning. That is the second hit of the game for Donovan Jordan. And Missouri with a 13-hit performance so far today.
Walker Hooks is the best that Ole Miss can throw at you. 23rd appearance, that's most on the team. He's got 7 saves. And the Missouri offense right now just turning him around. 4 base hits in a row.
So here's Caden Peer. Got a grand slam. He's 1 for 3. Peer slices this one foul. This is what he did back in the 5th inning. Just the second home run of the season. Came in with 10 ribbies. Miss low. 10 runs on 13 hits from Missouri. The 8th inning has been key for the Tigers this season. They are 22-0 when leading after 8. They are 0-28 when trailing after 8. 1-2.
Yeah, it's a guess swing there by Caden Peer. He's thinking 1-1. He's going to get the fastball. Walker Hooks not giving in, and he won't.
By the way, this is the most combined runs in an SEC tournament game in a quarter century. You have to go back to Ole Miss beating Tennessee 17-6 in a run rule game in 2001. Well, the next most runs scored in a game. Kerrick Jackson going to check with Caden Peer here with the count 1-2.
Well, you see a lot of players now in college baseball, you know, hitting their fist on their chest, the 2-strike fight, and that's kind of what Kerrick Jackson is telling Caden Peer. We can't just wave blindly at pitches. Like, stay in there. For me, it was kind of eliminating the pull side, looking up the middle the other way, which means letting the ball travel as deep as you can. And they're going to be playing him in double play depth, but to pull a little bit. So the other side of the field has more hits in it. And if you can sit back on that slider, that's where you want to drive it.
What a way to open the tournament. All offense today. 1-2 to Peer with 2 aboard.
And what it also does by sitting on that slider is it makes you see it better. So you're able to take a pitch like that he just waved at the pitch before.
This one will find the seats. Just doing the math here. We're pushing the trend for a 4-hour game. There have been 4 9-inning 4-hour games in the SEC tournament. Ole Miss has been a part of 3 of them. I'm just thinking about the LSU fans. Do you think they're going to be okay hanging out in the parking lot for another hour or 2 before they come out for the final game of the night?
If there are any fans that will be, it'll be them. But wow, I just thought about that. 3 more games after this one.
You only have to work one of them.
For Dave and Lance, yeah, it's gonna be late. And this at bat, I mean, for Walker Hooks, I mean, he's going to continue to throw that slider. I always thought that's when you sit the off speed and react fastball. So that's a nice pitch. Change up in on the hands. And Caden Pierre not able to get the handle on it. Big strikeout for Walker Hooks.
So if you can sit, slide, and react fastball, does the same effect apply to the changeup?
Yeah, because what I'm basically saying is sit off speed. Yeah, and because of that, you can get that tempo timing kind of thing with the slider and the changeup. And then you just got to be quick enough to react to the fastball in that situation. Now, clearly 2-0-3-1 counts. You're sitting fastball, reacting off speed. But that one's the opposite. And just a nice quality pitch by Walker Hooks, putting it in a spot where even if you're looking for the changeup, it's going to be hard to hit.
Looks like Furness is having an issue with his glove. You think he just noticed that, or you think he was
That's what I'm thinking,
pulling on the thread?
Yeah, I don't know. Probably just noticed it. They haven't had a pickoff over there. Had a ball in the glove for a while. Stitching must have come loose, and he just didn't notice.
1-0. Inside, 2-0. Well, Missouri has its back against the wall coming into this tournament. The only way they get in to the postseason is by winning every game and taking the automatic berth. So they have to win 5 games over a 6-day span.
That's asking a lot. That's why they wanted and hoped that Josh McDevitt would give them some length, which he did.
I remember this Missouri team had a 13-game win streak in the non-conference portion of play back before they went to Auburn, hosted Auburn and got swept. And since then, they haven't won 2 in a row once in league play. They won 2 in a row with Kentucky and Missouri State back in early April. Fly ball into right field. Becerra drifting back onto the warning track, and he hauls this one in, but his error was costly. And Ole Miss trails by 2, going to the bottom of the 8th, top of the order due up.
On the field, I've got Jared Luch here. We will see you coming up after the game. We'll have some winners over to the set. Also get you set for Vandy, Kentucky. Tyler Bell on the field will talk to us. Mike Mancini as well. But wild one here to open this thing.
Oh, we got a crazy one. I kind of thought Missouri had made it throw on the knockout punch with the 5 runs in the top of the 5th, and it's just been back and forth since then. So it's been beautiful. It's a good game. We don't know how this thing's going to end.
Don't count the Reds out. 6 home runs already in game 1. We talk about how big this field plays.
Yeah.
The ball's traveling today.
6 home runs, and how many Mateo Cerna successful
6,
ABS
7.
challenges? Dude's in fuego right now.
We may be in double digits.
You're talking about feeling yourself, man. I don't know what Blue thinks of it, but guys, back to you all.
All right, thanks. The old guys missed the 6-7 move by Jared Mitchell, who, by the way, knows about great comebacks. He scored the game-winning run in the 9th inning comeback against Rice in Omaha back in 08 for LSU. Masonette is the new Missouri second baseman, taking over for Blaze Ward. That's not him. That's Durnan. There he is. And we swing into action with Dom Decker at the plate for Ole Miss. Top of the lineup for the Rebs. 1, 2, 3. Decker, Becerra, and Udemark.
And the freshman Eli Skidmore being asked to get 6 more outs through the middle of this lineup.
Decker 2 for 4 with a solo home run today. Eric Masonette at second. He's required because Blaze Ward left with an injury after fouling a ball off of his upper leg. That one pulled foul by Decker. And with 2 strikes, Mizzou will put the shift on. Well, Masonette will go out to shallow right. Or not. Two. Swing and a miss. And Skidmore with a big strikeout to start the 8th.
Dirty. We already know Eli Skidmore has a great changeup. How about this slider? Up and down, and those middle and off speed always seem more difficult because you're in the back of your mind as a hitter, you're thinking fastball. And when you see it come middle in, that's your first thought is it's going to be a fastball, and then it just drops off the table with less velocity, and it's just so hard to stay back.
So Becerra trying to atone for his error in the previous inning. 1 for 3 with a double and RBI with a run scored. Is that the changeup?
That's a change. 86. Big run on that ball too.
By the way, a lot of offense here today. 10-8 in Charlotte. Duke beat NC State 21-12. NC State went for 2. Pitch is low. They had 31 combined hits in that one in the ACC tournament.
Eli Skidmore is the guy that goes 1 inning here, 1 inning there. I mean, the last time he went 2 was back in early April. As long as 2 1/3. But again, I think he's out there to try to win this game.
1-2. Swing and a miss. Got him with a changeup. Back-to-back strikeouts for Skidmore. And Missouri, the last place team in the league who's going to put together a run, they're going to have to ask more from some guys who haven't necessarily done it.
Yeah, and how about the moxie of this freshman? Jumping in there with that changeup and slider and landing both. Working off that with the fastball and has these hitters off balance, but he's got a tough ask here against Judd Udemark.
Will he go right on right change?
Yeah, I think he likes it because it kind of tails into the hands of Judd Udemark. You just don't want to leave it up like that.
Ooh. That is flirting with danger. That ball would have ended up in downtown Birmingham had Udemark barreled it. 20 bombs, 48 driven in. That's better. 0-2.
Perfect location, low and outside with the slider.
Skidmore trying to manage the top of the Ole Miss order. Cerna tried to bring that one back. 1-2.
So now he's got Judd Udemark sitting back. He's seen enough off speed that Judd Udemark is now looking for that pitch. That's when I always thought that fastball middle in with run will work if he can get it in there.
The pitch. So do you try to repeat that one or go to the changeup?
Again, now if you're Judd Udemark, you've seen the changeup, you've seen the slider, and that's what he's sitting on. But he didn't see it.
Him up.
He didn't see it. I don't know what happened there, but Judd Udemark got fooled. Maybe looking fastball, didn't see the spin, and right down the middle, Eli Skidmore strikes out the side in the bottom of the 8th. We got one more, and Missouri's in control.
SC line score. Mizzou 2 in the 3rd, 5 in the 5th, a single in the 6th, 2 more in the 8th. And it adds up to a 10-8 lead for the 16 seed, trying to knock off the 9 seed. And Ole Miss, with a run here, would have been in position to host. But they got their backs against the wall. They hand it off to Owen Kelly, 6'4" junior out of Bell Vegas, 3-2 with a 4.40 ERA. The East Sider struck out 30 in 28 2/3. He's the 6th different pitcher used by the Rebs today.
Yeah, and he's been used 28 2/3 on the year. 30 strikeouts, 89 to 92 on the fastball. Change-ups to left-handers. His primary pitch against the right-handers is the slider.
We'll go right, left. Starting with Chris Patterson, who was 1 for 3 today. Kelly threw in the midweek against UT Martin, 2 innings. 0 earned on 1 hit. And first pitch strike. Now 1-1. Out of play.
A little 3/4 natural sink on that fastball. Do it right down the middle, and Chris Patterson not able to handle it. 1 for 3 for Chris Patterson out of the 8 spot today.
Off the end of the bat to left. Sunglasses on for Pacella, sunglasses on for Patterson at the plate. Did you like hitting with sunglasses on?
Yeah, because I was in the era where the flips were, were still popular, and the Oakleys just came into play. And a lot of people didn't like, like Tom Kelly, who I played for Minnesota, didn't like guys to wear the Oakleys. But I didn't like the flips where it changed the color. Like, you have them up, and then when the ball went in the air, you flip them down. And, I just didn't like that. So, yeah, I used them all the time. I never took them off. So I hit with them, and I played defense with them.
And you look cool, didn't you?
That was the main reason I did it. Yeah, you got me.
Here's Pierre Seals. Have you ever not looked cool?
I'm sure I have.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
0-1 to Seals, who was 1 for 4. Just watching the Royals last week. Jack Caglione lost a pop-up. He had sunglasses on the back of his hat.
Yeah, that's a bad look when you got it on your hat, but you don't have them physically on, and then you drop a ball in the sun, which is scary. There have been a couple times where that ball goes up and it just gets right in the ball of the sun, and you just have no idea where it's at, but you think you're about to get hit on top of the head.
There's a phrase for that. It's called the Rawlings eclipse. Did you know that?
I did not, but I had
just
the Rawlings,
made it up.
I had the Rawlings eclipse a couple times.
Strike 3. Looking on Seals as Kelly's going to work. He's retired the 2 he's faced, and got a challenge. See how Seals does. We're at the point where it's a 2-run game, and it's the 9th inning, and you start to wonder, you can't take them with you. Does it hurt to burn it? Well, now you're down to 1. You do get an extra challenge per each extra inning if that's the case here.
If I'm the hitter and I get blown up on a close one, yeah, I'm using it.
Jace Woida first pitch swinging. And that'll bring Cam Durnan back to the plate. He's had a big game, including a 2-run home run back in the 3rd.
Been on base all 5 times, Cam Durnan. 3 runs scored, the home run, like you mentioned. Holding down the shortstop position.
So the person operating the scoreboard, was just a little bit behind. They had Missouri with 3 challenges remaining when it was 2. Now it's down to 1. And it's not the end of the world. Everybody's doing their best today. But I wonder if Seals would have challenged if he would have seen that sitting at 2 versus 3. I mean, it's your job as a player to keep track of everything. But this is new to everybody.
It doesn't matter to Mateo Cerna because he didn't get anything wrong.
No,
so he don't care how many. If he's got 1, he's good.
No, he's on a heater.
Yeah.
1 to him is infinity. Might as well put a sideways 8 on the scoreboard. 2-0 to Durnan. Cerna waiting to hit. Couple guys away. In for a strike, 2-1. Fought off to the right side. Missouri came into this weekend 3rd in its own state in RPI, behind Missouri State and behind Southeast Missouri State. Room service hot for Pano to Decker to close the 9th. Last chance for Ole Miss. Rebels will have Furness, Federico, and Pano down a pair. The lead over Ole Miss. Kentucky in 22 was the last lowest seed to win a tournament game. That's when it was a 12-team tournament, and the Cats won 3 games and made it to the semifinals that year. You with it?
Yeah, well, 1 through 4 seeds. I got to get my train of thought right. 1 through 4 seeds win this thing every year. So I mean, you can make a run, and Kentucky, kind of like that, it's going to need that type of run.
Remember, that was a 12-team tournament back then. 2 teams didn't make it in the 14-team league, and then Texas and Oklahoma joined. We go to single elimination. Everybody gets the invite, and here we are. And here's Will Furness. And Furness looks at a first pitch strike from Eli Skidmore, who's in his 3rd inning of work. He struck out the side in the 8th, leaning heavily on his changeup. And Furness to the opposite side of Patterson, who was standing in on the grass. 1 down. Well, Carrick Jackson told the studio guys before the game today they're going to just leave it all on the field, and Missouri has made every play so far today.
Yeah, they've been good and have not won a tournament game since 2017, and 2 outs away.
Now you got to deal with Federico, who's driven in 4 of the 8 for Ole Miss. 373-foot opposite field home run last time up. Cerna needs time. You know, we used to have the umpires mic'd. We could hear all of these conversations. We didn't air all of them. But it's fantastic when you really get insight as to how the home plate umpire and the catcher work in unison to protect each other.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
Cerna gets up and Bradley's like, hey, you need some water. You need, what do we need? How can we keep you healthy and keep you together?
Yep.
It is turning into a hot one. 87 degrees. Feel like temperature is 91. Change up. Catches the edge for a strike 1 and 2, and they'll put the shift on. If Ole Miss can't come back here in the 9th inning, obviously they'll miss out on the opportunity likely to host, to go on a run where they could host. Does it change how you feel about their opportunity to win in the postseason?
No, especially when you think back to 2022, and Bianco's going to argue this.
Federico thought it's a foul ball.
And Guevara coming in from second base. The umpire.
Ball's in the dirt, he's saying. It wasn't even close. And now the second base umpire, J.J. January, helping out, says it was a foul ball.
Spinner down in the dirt.
Well. Carrick Jackson wants to talk about it.
Guevara all the way out beyond second base. I mean, if he's calling it that definitively, then he heard something or saw something. I don't know if it changes. Yeah, it seems like it did.
Rotation turn.
Yeah. Seems like he barely caught it.
So a new lease for Federico. Only count 1 and 2. So you were saying it doesn't change how you feel about their opportunity for postseason.
Most likely a 2 seed, somebody else's regional. You think back in 2022 when they had to go on the road the entire time and won the regional, won the super, and won Omaha. So Mike Bianco is aware of that. You know, his experience will help that group through. And they've got Hunter Elliott and Cade Townsend. Those are 2 studs that anybody would have a tough time with in any regional, no matter where you're at.
5 strikeouts now for Eli Skidmore out of the Missouri bullpen, and he's walking with some confidence now. And if Missouri is going to go on a run, this performance by Skidmore, who is, pardon me, Cage 6, will go a long way to helping him. He is really giving them some length out of the bullpen. Owen Pano. Change up low, 1-0. Pano with a double, a couple of strikeouts, and a hit by pitch. And just past the reach of Woida. Second time Pano's been plunked, both times on breaking balls, that time near the knee. And Ole Miss will bring the tying run to the plate here in the 9th inning, and it's Austin Fawley already has a home run today. They'll bring out the athletic trainer Mike Bianco to check on Owen Pano. He is really smarting.
Multi-talented over there, Mike Bianco, going to check it out. You do not want to be in this position. Brings up the tying run and one of the best home run hitters that Ole Miss has. 34 home runs in his last 2 years. And that ball squared him up. This is home run back in the 2nd inning. Austin Fawley goes the opposite direction. Solo shot to tie this game up. Stormtrooper action. And hit a guy to put the tying run at the plate.
So Pano trying to stretch it out. Yeah, that Foley home run made it a 2-0 Ole Miss lead on a couple of solo home runs. Missouri tied it with the Durnan home run in the third. And then it was off to the races with 9 combined runs scored in the 5th. That took the gates off this thing. Foley, outside of his home run, has struck out 3 times. See if Skidmore can close the door. He is being tested with his length today. He has faced 9. He has struck out 5.
He went for it, and the timing was right. He just missed it. This tells you that Austin Foley's sitting on that slider.
To third. Patterson, and Missouri upsets Ole Miss in game 1 of the tournament with an offensive outburst. 10-8. Tigers with the win. It's their first win in Hoover since 2017.
Missouri did have 2 series wins this year, one over Vanderbilt and one over Kentucky. And they're 0 in their last 6 tournament games until today. Carrick Jackson and the group gets a win, and they move on to tomorrow. Ole Miss goes home and tries to regroup for their tournament run.
That one came in at 3 hours and 51 minutes. Skidmore gets the win to go to 3-0. Koenig suffers a loss. He drops to 3-1, and it'll be Mississippi State and Missouri tomorrow. Vandy and Kentucky coming up next. For Todd Walker, I'm Tom Hart. We'll have Vanderbilt and Kentucky, but between now and then, Dari and the guys will talk to the victors from Missouri. 10-8, Missouri at the win, snapping a 6-game conference losing streak. We'll be back at the top of the hour, 2 o'clock, for the next game.